Special. Aldershot Town, Crawley Town, Woking, Farnborough. BBC Surrey.
A very happy new year to one and all, and we've got another exciting sporting year ahead across Surrey and North East Hampshire. And what a way to start it. Woking versus Aldershot Town, Part 2. I'm Gavin Dennison. Welcome to the Laithwaite Stadium for a sports special here on BBC Surrey. After all the build-up to Boxing Day with the shots on the wane and the cards on the rise, it was Gary Waddock's side who shone at the Ebb Stadium. Mensah inside the box, tight angle, squares it, and it's 4-0. And Scott Rendell completes his hat-trick against his former side. And the shots have been absolutely rampant here this afternoon. And it's Aldershot Town 4, Woking 0. Is it fair to say we'll see a different Woking on New Year's Day?
That is going to be an incredibly hard game, because I know for sure Woking and Gary will have his players fired up for that game, and it's going to be a real important game.
That's a good thing about football, the Christmas and New Year game, about playing against the same club. If you have a bad day at the office, you can mug yourself off once, but you've got an opportunity 5 days later to try and do something about it. So we'll see whatever we put out on the park, if they can stand up and be counted.
Think about the team changes possibly, or whether you send the same 11 out and say do it properly this time.
Send the same 11 out, you enjoy the new year.
In team news here at Kingfield, Aldershot Town, unsurprisingly, are unchanged from Boxing Day. Gary Hill makes 5 changes, including a dropping for Ismail Yakubu, Jake Caprice and Brandon. There's a return for Max Kretschmar, Michael Polk, Terrell Thomas, Fabio Saraiva and Denon Lewis. We'll hear more from Aldershot trio Gary Waddock, Jake Cole and Scott Rendell, and Woking boss Gary Hill and skipper Ismail Yakubu between now and 1 o'clock. We'll be hearing from some fans here at Kingfield as well. And that's all ahead of live radio commentary once again here on BBC Surrey, on the BBC Sport website and via the BBC Sport app on your mobile devices. We've also got 2 games in the Premier League today as Watford host Spurs and Arsenal welcome Crystal Palace. That's all in a sports special between now and 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Sports Special on BBC Surrey.
And a very good afternoon to everyone. Hopefully your New Year's Eve was suitably belligerent, and you're now somehow recovering from last night's exertions by listening to us here on BBC Surrey, on the BBC Sport app and the BBC Sport website. And what a great way to start 2017. Aldershot Town looking to capitalise on that 4-0 win against Woking on Boxing Day. Woking looking to recover from the absolute mauling they got down at the Ebb Stadium. Pretty much everyone I've spoken to here at Kingsfield today is expecting a more competitive game, is expecting Woking to push Aldershot Town a lot more closely. And as I look around, there's plenty of fans pouring in, plenty of Shots fans over on the Chris Lane Terrace over on the far side, and their section of the Leslie Gosden stand is almost full, and plenty of Woking fans here today as well. As we mentioned, looking for better from their side. The Shots start the day 10th after both Eastleigh and Gateshead won yesterday, so Shots dropping a couple of places on New Year's Eve. Woking, meanwhile, still just out of the relegation zone on goal difference in the National League. Well, I touched briefly on the team news in the intro there. Let's get a bit more on that from our commentator today, Gary Smith.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed, Gavin. As you quite rightly say, the Cards make 5 changes here, so Gary Hill not afraid to ring the changes after the debacle that was Boxing Day. Michael Polk returns in goal. Terrell Thomas comes back in to the central defensive lineup. Joey Jones, Brian Sarr, Kieran Murtagh, Gozi Ogwu and Nathan Ralph all keep their places in the side. Fabio Saraiva comes in, having started Boxing Day on the bench. Max Kretschmar comes in for his first game since injuring his shoulder in October. Denon Lewis is also back in the starting 11, and the final 11 is made up by Kane Ferdinand. On the bench for Gary Hill this afternoon, Brandon Hall, Jake Caprice, Frankie Sutherland, Anthony Edgar and Chike Candy. That's the news for the Cards.
Aldershot Town are unchanged, as I mentioned. That means that Jake Cole remains in goal. Then you've got the back four, of course, is as you were, with Anthony Straker on the left, Shea Alexander on the right, and Callum Reynolds and Dion Conroy in the middle. In midfield, Kunde Benyu and Jake Gallagher, both so impressive on Boxing Day in the middle. Idris Kanu and Bernard Mensah wide, and Shamir Fenelon supporting Scott Rendell. Well, I'm joined here, obviously, by our commentary team of Rob Worrell and John Moore, the Woking press officer. We'll start with Rob. Rob, I guess, is it a bit of a surprise that the shots are unchanged today? Because obviously we know Gary likes to change things around.
No, I don't think.
Hang on, we need your mic turned on.
I don't think so at all.
Sorry, your mic's still not on.
Still not on. No.
Are we? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, there we go.
Can you hear me now? I'm not too surprised, Gav. I think when a team's had a good win, you know, they want to keep everything as much the same as they possibly can, and equally I don't think it's any great surprise that Gary Hill shuffled his pack, and notably in the goalkeeping position.
I guess sort of the one change he may have to think about is who supports Scott Rendell. Obviously Shamir Fenelon did it very well on Boxing Day. Are you expecting that again today?
I think there's great opportunity to keep it fluid, and they may well start that way, or they might switch him and Kanu. You know, one thing Gary doesn't want to be is predictable. Hence, I think he did kind of put the vibes out there that Liam Bellamy might be back in the starting lineup today. I want to tell you he's not. He's messing around with the camera on the touchline at the minute. He's not even in the squad. So a little bit of mind games there from Mr. Waddock. Yeah, good friendly ones, of course, with Gary Hill, in which I know he gets on extremely well.
Yes, Gary Waddock still without Liam Bellamy and Nick Arnold. So thank you very much indeed to Rob. Let's hear from John Moore as well, the Woking press officer. John, 5 changes for Gary Hill today. Are there any there that are particularly surprising from your perspective?
Not hugely. I suppose Jake Caprice might be the exception to that, because he's had a very good season for the Cards, but you know, he really had a shocker on Boxing Day and didn't really help the defence at all. But other than that, I'm not surprised to see Terrell Thomas returning. You know, he will give the Cards some pace and mobility at the back, which they really lacked on Monday.
Now, pretty much everyone I've spoke to at the ground today is expecting a different Woking performance. They're expecting a closer game. You're obviously, you know, a lot closer to the squad than I am and than the fans are. Is that what you're expecting, having seen them at close quarters?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I've spoken to Gary Hill several times in the week, and it was pretty obvious from the conversations I was having with him that he was going to shake things up. He's made it very clear to the squad what's expected of them, and certainly made it very clear to them that another performance like we had on Boxing Day don't even go there.
No.
But you know, at the end of the day, you can only put the team on the pitch, and they've got to then do the business. I think what disappointed all Woking fans on Boxing Day was the lack of fight, the lack of commitment. I do have a theory about what happened, and I have this freeze theory, as it's called, which does sometimes happen. It happens at the highest level, whereby an event happens early on in the game and the team can freeze. It happened actually to Manchester United away at Chelsea. I know I'm clutching at straws here, Gavin, from the face you're giving me, but hear me out, please. It happened at Stamford Bridge. You know, Chelsea scored very early on, if you remember. Man United never ever recovered from that, and in the end they lost 4-0. And that mistake from Brandon Hall on Monday, that set the tone, I thought. Woking never cleared their heads, and of course Aldershot scored another goal quickly, and then it was almost game over. I realised the counter argument is that you've got to be stronger, you've got to have leaders, you've got to rise to the occasion. But as I say, I'm sticking with the freeze theory.
Well, we're a broad church here on BBC Surrey, John, so we'll listen to any theory and take it with due regard. So that's your commentary team today here on BBC Surrey, on the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sport app. The Aldershot Town media team member Rob Worrell, John Moore, the Woking press officer, and Gary Smith as well. And we'll have live commentary from 1 o'clock across all of those platforms, and we're on air until 3 o'clock. We'll try and get some reaction to you quickly before we go off the air at 3 o'clock. If we don't, then it'll be live on the Twitter feed, on the website, and in the breakfast show in the half-hourly sport bulletins from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Well, let's hear from the two camps. We'll hear from some fans in just a moment, but first of all, let's hear from the real man of the match, the man of the day on Boxing Day, a man who scored 49 goals in his first 2 seasons for the Cards, got a hat-trick against them on Boxing Day. Scott Rendell, the man, he only had 6 goals before that game, and he admits it was a bit like the old Scott Rendell on Monday.
Yeah, it was. It was more of an instinct for me, and being in the right areas, which is where I found myself haven't been quite as much as I should have been. So I've been watching games, figured out a few things, and obviously was in the right spot 3 times, which is always nice. We were on the front foot from minute 1, put them under pressure. We've turned the corner, I think. Well, I'm hoping we've turned the corner with that kind of performance.
9 goals this season. How do you assess the first half of the campaign from your perspective, obviously coming back from that very, very serious knee injury?
Pleased to be back playing. We're on a regular occurrence now with no problems. A little bit disappointed with the goal return, but in the overall scheme of things, it's probably been just above average. I feel like I've played with playing slightly different roles here and there and trying to help young players through, but sometimes you need to concentrate on number 1, and being a goal scorer, you need to score goals. So I class myself as a goal scorer, and I need to get back to scoring goals on a regular basis now. You mentioned obviously that you know the Woking manager Gary Hill very, very well indeed. Knowing him as you do, how is he going to respond and get his team prepared for New Year's Day at Kingfield?
Well, as well as he possibly can. Pretty sure it's not a reflection of what that club's about. I know that. He will make sure that he want a response on like anyone would. But we need to make sure that we don't get above our station now. We've had a good positive game, positive result. But we can't take it for granted. We need to keep working hard. Can we go into New Year's Day and come out with another 3 points?
Are you expecting a lively reception at Kingfield?
I would imagine so, yeah. But it is what it is. There's so many factors that have gone under the radar and things like that about how I've left, why I've left, what this is going on. But at the end of the day, I can't affect anything apart from playing football. And I need to do a job. I'm here now. I'm enjoying my time here. And long may it continue.
That's the Aldershot Town striker Scott Rendell, who scored a hat-trick on Boxing Day against his former side, and he starts for Aldershot Town today. Unsurprisingly, here on New Year's Day, Gary Waddock naming an unchanged side from the team that started at the Ebb Stadium 6 days ago. We'll hear from the Woking camp in just a moment, but let's hear from a few Shots fans. I spoke to a couple over on the far side, on the Chris Lane Terrace, where there's certainly plenty of Shots fans massing. I spoke to a couple of gentlemen before the game today. So I'm joined here at Kingfield by Pete and Barry, a couple of Shots fans standing on the Chris Lane Terrace. First of all, Pete, a word on Boxing Day. I mean, Aldershot couldn't have really played much better on Boxing Day, could they?
No, certainly it was a great game for us Aldershot fans. It was what we hoped for and what we got. But you know, that was one of those days. I hope today's going to be a repeat, but I don't somehow think it will.
Were you expecting a performance like that? Because obviously the Shots hadn't been in great form.
Well, because it's a local derby, I think league form goes out of the window then. And yeah, I hopefully I was, yeah. And it turned out to be, I didn't think it would be as many as 4, but having seen the game, it should have been more than 4.
Barry as well. In terms of today, are you expecting a little bit more from Woking today as a response to that defeat?
I'm expecting a lot more from Woking today. I thought they were very poor in the last game, but I can't see that happening again today, and I think it'll be a lot closer.
Can you see Scott Rendell outperforming like he did then as well?
Well, he's an opportunist, and he took his hat-trick well, and hopefully today I think he might get a couple more, but it's going to be very close today.
Who do you think is going to be the key man for Aldershot today, Pete?
Well, again, as Barry said, probably Scott Rendell, and he's got a few problems because of the way he left Woking and the so-called support that may be against him, but no, I think he's quite a strong character, and hopefully he'll be our man for the day.
We're just past the halfway point of the first season with Gary Waddock back at the helm. What have you made of the overall Shots performance so far in sort of the first, well, just over half a season?
Well, they've been a bit up and down. We had a really good start, and even in the first game of the season at Barrow, I thought we were very unlucky not to come away with something. But the performance is tailed off. Hopefully, beating Woking 4-0 the other week is the start of a, revival of the season, hopefully.
And how far do you think they can go in 2017, Pete?
Well, Aldershot, how far they can? Well, hopefully they'll get to the playoffs. It's going to be pretty difficult, but it's a possibility, and that's why we come to football. That's why we support Aldershot. But we'll still be here whether we're in the conference next year or Conference South or Ryman League. So.
And a quick prediction for today?
I think possibly a draw.
I'll go for 2-1 shots.
So as you had a couple of Shots fans there expecting a closer game, and obviously we heard from Scott Rendell before them as well, again joined by our regular Aldershot Town summariser Rob Wall. Rob, I mean, both fans sort of touched on how important Scott Rendell is going to be today. I mean, is that how you feel as well? Is he the key man, or are Shots going to need to set a base elsewhere?
I think he can be the key man. I think one of the strengths of Aldershot Town is that they can hurt you from different areas. It's lovely to see Scott being in the right place at the right time and starting to score the goals that I felt he would. I mean, obviously there was a big doubt after a very serious injury. If I'm honest, I didn't expect him to pop up with 25 this year, but I did think he should be, getting close to double figures by now, and that 3 goals lifts him very much towards that. From my point of view, as far as today is concerned, we've almost got to kind of get the feeling of, it's the second match in the derby, over the Christmas holidays. It's more about, are we actually going to try and close that 6-point gap above us and actually hang on to the shirt tails of those chasing the playoff positions? There's a little bit of a gap there that's occurred now, and we need to close that and make inroads quite quickly if we're seriously going to make a challenge. And
one of the things the fans touched on, he talked about potentially Scott Rendell getting a less than friendly reception here at Kingfield today. I mean, do you think that'll affect him at all?
None whatsoever, no. He'll expect it. His confidence is high. It's bound to be high after that. As a striker, when you've scored a hat-trick, Scott will almost be expecting to score today. I mean, whether he will or not, I don't know. But I am interested to see, although the Aldershot Town 11 hasn't changed, whether there are any little subtle changes within it. It wouldn't surprise me if they did. Perhaps maybe Carnu pushing up as opposed to Fenelon.
OK, well, thank you very much indeed, Rob. Rob Worrell will be part of our commentary team from 1 o'clock here on BBC. So Rob Worrell, John Moore and Gary Smith bringing you Aldershot Town against Woking live from 1 o'clock here on the BBC Surrey radio frequencies, on the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sport app as well. Well, let's hear from the Woking camper, a group of players, managers and fans smarting from that embarrassment on Boxing Day. Gary Hill accused his players of being gutless and letting the club down. And ultimately, they have 21 games left to preserve their National League status, just out of the bottom 4 on goal difference at the moment. Well, Woking skipper Ismail Yakubu, who isn't in the squad today, says the result 6 days ago could be just what they needed.
Times like this, in a way, are kind of a blessing. Sometimes you can go through a season and have a lot of, you can have a few things not really going firing for you in the team, but because your team's winning or we're not playing that great, but we're still getting results, it tends to mask it. But situations like this, you can't mask anything. There's nothing masking. We've really got to take a good look at ourselves as a club and as individuals to really focus on and get it right, to focus on what it is that we need to solidify and make sure we get right for the next game. Sometimes you need a good hiding to really learn a valuable lesson, and unfortunately we have some big lessons to be learned. So we've got to man up and really face those things that we need to really make sure that we change for the better. If we want our season to go for the better. If not, then we'll pay the price. But it's in our hands to really take responsibility and take a good look at ourselves.
I guess New Year's Day you will try and use the pain from the Boxing Day defeat to help you.
Yeah. It's a learning experience basically. If something that goes wrong in your life, it's a good opportunity to build on that and get stronger. With pain you can really it really tells something about you as an individual and as a team. When things aren't going right for you, how do you deal with it? Are you smart enough and responsible enough and man enough to face what it is that needs to be dealt with? And that's the challenge that we've got facing us now, and we've got to take it.
It's basically half the season. It's 2017 is going to be a huge 4 months of the future of this club as a National League side could be on the line.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got to try our best not to dwell on it too much. Obviously it hurts, but you can't keep hurting forever.
Will it help that this next game is against the same side you played just a few days ago?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, games like this when you know you haven't performed and you wanna prove to yourself and prove to everybody else that it was a one-off and that you can come back stronger. You want that opportunity to play him again, and the fact that we're playing him in the next couple of days is to me a blessing. I want us to get back on that pitch and really show what we can do.
That is Woking defender Ismail Yakubu, and he is one of 5 changes for Woking today. So Yakubu misses out, as do Fraser Shaw, Jake Caprice, Brandon Hall and Charlie Carter. Only Hall and Caprice are even on the bench. So Yakubu, Carter and Shaw have been left out the match day 16 altogether. The 5 players coming in for Gary Hill. Michael Pope comes in for Brandon Hall in goal. Terrell Thomas comes into the back 4. We think he'll play at centre-back alongside Brian Sarr, with Nathan Ralph at left-back, started at left midfield against Aldershot, and then Joey Jones actually playing at right-back after playing in central midfield on Boxing Day. And then a midfield 3 of Kane Ferdinand. Max Kretschmar has been out for a while with a dislocated shoulder, and Kieran Murtaugh. Fabio Saraiva on the left, Denon Lewis on the right, and Gozi Ugwu up front for the Cards. We've heard from Ismail Yakubu. Let's hear from some Woking fans that I caught up with earlier on today. I'm joined by Harvey and Richard, a couple of Woking fans standing here at the Kingfield Road end. I'll start with you, Richard. Obviously, you were at the game on Boxing Day. It can't be that bad again from a Woking perspective, can it?
Oh, we'd hope not, no. It's all over in 10 minutes.
I mean, what went wrong? What was the key thing missing from Woking on Boxing Day?
I don't mean we got started, really. An early goal and it was all over by then.
Any issues with the team selection at all on the day?
No, I don't think so. I could see no.
Harvey, I'm sure you're expecting better from Woking today. Are you confident they can get a result today?
Yeah, we can definitely do it, but it's just do it wherever the players want to do it.
It's going to need a big performance from someone. Who's going to be key for you today?
Gozi Ugwu probably.
Yeah. Are you confident he can get back to his goal-scoring form of November?
Yeah.
I mean, as a general sort of review back of 2016, which I guess it's been a disappointing calendar year. Are you confident Gary Hill's the man that can turn things around?
Yeah, I think we'll be all right. We started quite slowly, and then we had 5 or 6 games where it looked like it's coming together, and then we had another bad run. But I'm sure we'll be all right.
Is there still sort of confidence in Gary Hill from the Woking fans, do you feel?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. From what I hear on standing here. But
is it a case of being able to get in some players in January? Do you think that's what Gary Hill's going to be looking to do, Harvey?
Yeah, we need to sign some players, not just loan them, and get a team built together.
Any areas in particular that you'd like him to make some decent signings, or is it just everywhere?
Just, we've got some good players, but the team could definitely improve. We need another striker to play up front with Ugwu. So.
And in terms of sort of the season, I mean, obviously the Woking just outside the relegation zone at the moment. Are you confident they can push their way up the table?
Yeah, I think we'll be all right. I can't see us going down.
How important is fingers crossed? How important is a win today, though, with obviously some pretty tough fixtures coming up in the next couple of weeks?
It's massive, especially after Boxing Day. We've got to turn it around.
And a quick prediction from you both. We'll start with Harvey.
3-1
to
Woking.
Excellent. Richard?
2-0 to Woking.
So a couple of very confident Woking fans there. Let's speak to our Woking commentator, Gary Smith. Gary, obviously there's some positive sort of feedback from the Woking fans there. I mean, is that the general sense that you're getting, that they're confident Gary Hill and the team can turn things around today?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, new year, new start, really, isn't it, here for the Cards? And people have said to me it can't be any worse than it was on Boxing Day, and Gary won't allow it to be any worse. You know, I know Gary fairly well, and he won't allow a performance like that again from his players. But as John Moore quite rightly said to you a few minutes ago, Gavin, the players, you know, Gary can only do so much once the players get across the white line. It's pretty much down to them to make sure they put the performance in that is warranted, and Gary and Steve Thompson can only work on so much on the training ground. It's down to the players to apply themselves properly. And the 5 changes that Gary has made today, A couple of surprises in there. Maybe Jake Caprice dropping out is possibly a little bit of a kick up the backside for Jake, who was, his England C call-up has possibly gone to his head a little bit. And, he was a very good outlet, but he's been a little bit quiet in the last couple of games. Brandon Hall, I'm not surprised at, with no disrespect to Brandon. He did very well coming in for Michael Poke after Michael got injured, but I'm no surprised to see Michael Poke back in between the sticks today. And Terrell Thomas, I'm not surprised to see come back in either.
Just a very quick one, Gary. Just in terms of this season, Woking they've taken some fairly heavy defeats during the course of the campaign. Has Gary Hill generally been able to get them to respond well and sort of pick up in the following fixture?
Yeah, generally I think things have been okay. I mean, like I say, Gary, he won't allow another performance like that today. It's obviously down to the players to put the commitment and the effort in and get themselves together. And, looking at the way Woking are going to line up today, I think there's a far more knowledgeable way that the players are going to line up amongst themselves today. I've heard reports, I wasn't there Boxing Day, but I've heard reports that the formation was difficult to work out, players weren't sure where they should be playing, etc, etc. But I think when you look at that, it's going to be a fairly rigid four-man defence, four-man midfield. Kieran Murtagh pushing forward to get up in support of Gozi Ogwu, and hopefully Gozi can get back on the score sheet here today.
Great stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Gary. Well, the time as we close in on kickoff here at Kingfield. Live commentary of Aldershot Town here against Woking on BBC Surrey, on the BBC Sport website, on the app as well. Coming up very shortly indeed. It's 12:55 on New Year's Day.
The new year is finally here.
Right then, is this the juicer?
Oh, it's a bit dusty. And if you're making a few changes for the better?
Anyone for dried mango pieces?
Look at the shape of this carrot. Then why not make the switch to digital radio?
Have you dressed this salad, Mark?
Yes, it's wearing my +4s and smoking jacket.
With digital radio, you can enjoy all your usual stations, plus digital-only stations, such as BBC Radio 4 Extra.
OK, who ordered the pizza?
If you love radio, go digital. To find out more, search for BBC Digital Radio.
Sports Special. Aldershot Town, Crawley Town, Woking, Farnborough. BBC Surrey.
Well, the two teams coming out a little bit early here at Kingfield, so let's quickly get the thoughts of the two managers today. And Shots boss Gary Waddock says the Boxing Day win was them being back to their ruthless best.
Early part of the season, we were fortunate enough to get early goals, which gave us confidence, and we're a young team as well. Every team has a bad spell, every team, but the lads will gain some confidence. Stick a marker in there and say, look, we're okay, we're not bad. Every team goes through a dip in form. On the evidence of that, we're beginning to get ourselves going again.
Is it fair to say we'll see a different Woking on New Year's Day?
I've actually touched on that with the players already. That is going to be an incredibly hard game, and both teams will probably go into it with a different attitude towards it, because I know for sure Woking and Gary will have his players fired up for that game, and it's going to be a real important game.
That's the Aldershot Town manager, Gary Waddock. Let's hear from his counterpart, Cards boss, Gary Hill, and Gary saying that his players really have a chance for redemption today.
I don't know whether sometimes the mentality of football players today, it hurts them hard enough, or they feel at the end of the day that they care about the game so much. The generation has changed. We've had a testing season one way or another, but you're at a stage sometimes as a manager, as a player, as a football supporter and as a football club that you have to have rough times, and we've had 5 wonderful years, but at the end of the day there's an opportunity which has come through for other players. I know the club have worked very hard this year to try and make things available for us, and we all know it's tough, but everyone at the end of the day puts hard work in, whether it's a voluntary support of the football club, whether it's a sponsor of the football club, or it's people who turn up for players to get paid. And you know what, and I always say it, in 6 years at Woking Football Club, 6 years, the 25th or the last Friday in every month, not once in them 6 years have them players gone without their money. That's what you call a little bit of value and a little bit of loyalty.
January's coming up. You always talk about maybe you change things around. I know you haven't got a lot to do that with, but what are your thoughts? Has today galvanised your thoughts about January and changing things?
Not in respect of that we have to have a change in every way or form. I think that's important. It's our real chance now, and things are already in place that, we're not good enough in respect of where we are at the present time. There are circumstances that don't make it easy, but that's not down to directors or this and that because they don't want to do it. It's a situation where we are, and it happens sometimes in football.
That's Gary Hill, the Woking manager. The two teams are in their pre-match huddles here at Kingfield. The second local derby in 6 days. It finished 4-0 to the Shots on Boxing Day. Can the Cards reverse that here on New Year's Day? Live commentary on BBC Surrey, the BBC Sport website and on the BBC Sport app. And your commentary team here at the home of Woking FC. The Woking press officer John Moore, Rob Warren of the Aldershot Town media team and Gary Smith.
Thank you very much indeed, Gavin. Good afternoon, everybody. And let me firstly say a very, very happy and prosperous 2017 to everybody, wherever you may be listening. These two sides kicked off 2016 by facing off here at the Laithwaite in a game which Woking won by 2-1 to secure a historic double. But today it is the Shots who have the chance to secure the bragging rights following their emphatic 4-0 win on Boxing Day. Since the return to the top flight of non-league football, Woking have never finished below the Shots. But at start of play today, it is the Shots who look down on Woking from their lofty perch of 10th place in the Vanarama National League. 10 places and 15 points clear of Woking. We have kicked off here at the Laithwaite Stadium. Woking are playing from right to left in this first period. Traditional red and white half shirts, black shorts and white socks. And the Shots are in their change kit of a light blue shirt, white shorts and light blue socks. There were 5 changes to the Woking side. We'll come to the teams in just a second because, as I say, we are off and running, and it's the Cards defending the Leslie Gosden stand and attacking the Jewson stand away to our left-hand side. Your referee for this afternoon's game is Adrian Quelch. He's assisted by Paul Saunders and Ben Cobb. The observer is David Crick, and the fourth official is Daniel Berry this afternoon. A little bit of a frantic start. Nobody really wants to put their foot on the ball and do anything with it. Murta lofts it over the top, but it's hit far too hard, and it goes all the way through to former Woking goalkeeper Jake Cole in the Aldershot goal here this afternoon. Clean sheet and a penalty save, of course, for Jake Cole on Monday afternoon on Boxing Day in the emphatic 4-0 victory. In the press box alongside me, delighted to have, as per normal, Mr. John Moore. John, a very happy New Year to you and a good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Gary. Good afternoon to everyone, and a very, very happy New Year.
And also we're delighted to be joined and honoured to be joined here as well from the Aldershot perspective side of things from Rob Worrell, who's part of the Shots media team. Rob, a very good afternoon to you and a happy New Year to you too as well.
Yeah, happy New Year to everybody. I know there'll be two sides, two managers, two sets of supporters out there desperate to make it feel like a happy New Year with the performance and the result today.
Absolutely. Rob, let me just stay with you for a second because I just wanted to say to you, Boxing Day, obviously I wasn't there to see it. You know, Gavin and yourself and John were there to see it. But even as the most ardent Aldershot fan, Rob, must have been quite surprised at the manner of the victory and the you know, emphasis of the victory on Boxing Day. Yeah,
it won't surprise you that I had to go and buy the non-league paper and watch the actual live coverage of the game when I got home just to believe that it really did happen. Literally the performance and result that Aldershot Town supporters will have dreamt of, and the worst nightmare really that Woking supporters and everybody connected with the club could have possibly had in terms of their former striker and their former goalkeeper coming back to haunt them. And what can Aldershot look to get from this, Rob? Can they sort of, you know, push on in 2017 towards the playoffs? Is there the ability and the belief within the squad that they could hit the top 5? Because you were buzzing around the top of the table, you know, at the start of the season, the Shots. I think the abilities there. I'll just hold off as strikers tried to get it into the box. It's been intercepted by the Cards, and it's Kretschmar back in the side today, breaking away over on that far side. Slides it down the inside right channel. Goziagwu going across to try and get it, but it's shepherded out of play by Aldershot skipper Callum Reynolds, and it's away for a throw in front of the throng of Aldershot fans on that far side, braving the elements in the Chris Lane Terrace. It's a ball into the box. Oh, there was a great chance for Ferdinand coming in inside the 6-yard box. It was Kretschmar who got it in right-footed. And John, that's an early warning sign for the Shots, but a good sighter for the Cards.
Yeah, great ball into the box, and really, I think one of the Woking forwards should have got on the end of that. It was a glorious opportunity, but a good fast start from the Cards, and you know, the complete opposite really from Boxing Day, I'm delighted to say, so far. And what went wrong for the Cards on Boxing Day, John? Like I say, I wasn't there to see it. Was it that Woking were very bad, Aldershot were very good, or was it a combination of the two? I think Woking were just really, really bad. Here's Agwu chasing this one down. It's gone one-on-one. The flag's gone up on the far side, though. Agwu thought he'd muscled his way away from Dion Conroy, but the flag went up on the far side when Gozzi was looking like he was going to be bearing down on goal. Yeah, Woking were just atrocious. I wasn't sure of the game plan, I wasn't sure of the formation, but certainly Woking sat far too deep. They were all over the place. They didn't make a meaningful challenge all afternoon. They stood off Aldershot and invited them on, and you just can't afford to do that.
And how much of a worry is it, John? I know we spoke before the game. How much of a worry that the goals have dried up? 5 games the Cards played in December and only 1 goal scored, which was the goal away at Ebbsfleet in the first game of the trophy.
Well, it's the curse, isn't it, of the player of the month? Because, Gozzi was on fire in November and just hasn't been able to sign that same level of consistency in December. But, having said that, it's a fresh start today, and it's very, very important that Woking get up and try and support Gozzi, because again on Boxing Day he was just completely outnumbered, he was isolated, and again Woking playing just one up top today. So as we've said lots and lots of times, important that you get midfield runners alongside them and going past him.
Absolutely. Just coming up to 5 minutes played here at the Laithwaite Stadium, then full match commentary here of Woking versus Aldershot. It is, of course, here on BBC Surrey. It's available on the BBC Sport website and, of course, the BBC app as well. It's me, Gary Smith, John Moore, my regular co-commentator, and delighted, as I say, to be joined by Rob Worrell from the Shots media team here today. The ball is out of play in front of the Leslie Gosden stand, and Michael Polk has the chance for a goal kick, plays it forward, good flick on by Agwu. It's touched off by Kretschmar to Ralph right on the touchline. Was he upended? Yes, he was. It was a foul by the number 18 Conroy coming across to this right hand side. Free kick on this left hand side then for the Cards, pretty much right out on the touchline, and Fabio Saraiva is going to have the chance to swing this one in left footed. A couple of yards in from the touchline, everything away to his right hand side, but the Cards have made a fairly decent start to this game. We're just approaching the 6 minute mark here at the Laithwaite. Here's the free kick from Saraiva, swings it up towards the far side of the box. Rendell was back there doing his defensive duties, gets it away. It's been picked up on the turn by the number 19 Kanu out to that far side, tussling away on the halfway line, wins himself a free kick. The young man who, Rob, I believe everybody is absolutely raving about down at Aldershot at the moment, Idris Kanu.
Well, I think so. He puts in good, steady performances every week. I mean, from a 16-year-old, what you'd expect is a lot of flair and a lot of mistakes, but actually he's mature beyond his years. He puts in some really, really solid performances. His decision-making on the ball is incredibly good for such a young lad. If anything, having seen some of the tricks and skills he showed in his first 2 or 3 cameo appearances, it's almost like he's kind of managing it, holding it back a little bit, really.
Well, this has been a fairly happy hunting ground for the Shots in recent years. 6 wins out of their last 8 trips to the Laithwaite Stadium. But going into the game on Boxing Day, Rob, if we just hark back to that for just a second, it might have come as a little bit of a surprise to everybody because, form-wise going into the game, it was Woking that were maybe showing a little bit more favourable form.
Yeah, I mean, Aldershot have been through a period of 2 stages. The first one where they were playing really, really well and just couldn't get the wins. They were very unlucky. And then a bit of a sticky patch where the form had kind of deserted them a little bit and they were scraping through, only picking up the odd point here or there.
It's a throw to the Cards on this near side. Ralph takes it, gets it back to Brian Sarr, gets it back to Ralph. Rendell tries to close the space down. There's a little ball over the top. Flag stays down. It's played square across the 6-yard box by Kretschmar, but intercepted by the Shots defence. They haven't cleared it very well, though. It's going to break it. What a chance. This is Jake Cole. Makes a great save. Saraiva left-footed. Pulled the trigger from about the penalty spot. You really would have expected the net to bulge, but Jake Cole makes a fantastic save. 7.5 minutes in, John. Great chance for Saraiva.
Yeah, on his favourite left foot as well. You'd have put your money on him to bury that, but instead of that, it was a tremendous save from Jake Cole. Did really, really well to get down and push it away.
There's a decent ball out to the right-hand side. Chance for the ball into the box. It's a poor choice of pass, though, by Lewis as he tried to scrape it back into the penalty spot. There's a challenge away on that far side, and the challenges are flying in thick and fast, as you would expect in a local derby. Woking have won the ball back. Murtagh spreads it out to this near side for Ralph, and Woking have started with a good bit of intensity here. Ralph just trying to burst inside, gets it back for Kieran Murtagh, the skipper this afternoon in the absence of Ismail Yakubu. He spreads it across there to Denon Lewis, has to go back on the halfway line to Joey Jones. Jones clips it forward, but it's easily picked off by Straker. He gets it forward up into the Woking half of the field. Fenelon was there to try and get it under control, but he was outnumbered by the Cards defence, and now it's played up over the top, and Kretschmar can't quite win the header. But it seems to be Max Kretschmar, John, who's getting forward to try and support Gozzi.
Yeah, so far this is a very different Woking side from the one that played on Boxing Day, and you're right, Kretschmar, we haven't seen very much of him at all this season, really. He's either been injured or out of form, and he's come in today, and it's a great opportunity for him, and he's just playing in that little pocket of space just behind Gozzi Agwu, almost between the lines, and he's popping out in spaces all over the place at the moment, and he's doing well for the Cards.
Yeah. Well, you do wonder that, or you hope that Woking won't come to rue that chance that Saraiva missed a couple of moments ago, because it was a fantastic effort. Fell on his favoured left foot, as you quite rightly say, John. He has 11 goals already to his name in all competitions so far this season, Fabio Saraiva. Know exactly what he's capable of. Aldershot get themselves a free kick on this near side. It was Shea Alexander who was bundled over. It's just on the right-hand side of the penalty area as Aldershot play from left to right in this first period. We've played 9.5 minutes here at the Laithwaite Stadium. Live here on BBC Surrey, Woking versus Aldershot Part 2, as Gavin quite nicely called it at the top of the commentary. And at the moment, the Cards, I guess, Rob, will be quite happy that they haven't conceded a goal, because by this stage of the game on Boxing Day, they were at least one, maybe 2 goals behind.
More than that, Gary. They've taken the early initiative and they could easily be ahead, and Jake Cole's done what he did during that run when Aldershot were getting narrow wins, and he's put in a brilliant one-on-one save.
Mensah stands over this free kick. There's a 2-man red and white shirted wall. Here comes the ball in from Mensah up towards that far side. It's nodded clear. Ralph gets on the second clearance and hooks it away, nodded back into the danger area by the shots. Woking tried to get something on it to get it clear, and it's up towards the halfway line. Agwu can't get there. He's beaten by Straker, headed back into the Woking half of the field. Murtagh gets there. There's a strong challenge coming in by Kretschmar in the centre circle on Callum Reynolds, the skipper for Aldershot, and now it's going to be a free kick to the shots inside the centre circle.
And just looking at the way Woking have lined up, I think they're playing 3 at the back. We thought they might revert to 4-4-2, but I definitely think there's the 3, you know, with Sarr, Jones and Terrell Thomas.
Yep. Free kick is going to be taken here by Straker. It looked like he was going to play it short out to the left-hand side, but it's inside the centre circle, and he clips it forward now, left-footed up to this right-hand side. Rendell trying to get over it. It's headed away by Terrell Thomas. Breaks for Nathan Ralph right out on the touchline. Gets it up towards Kretschmar. Kretschmar beaten in the air, though. There's a little flick on into the Woking penalty area. Brian Sarr gets it up rather than away. Kanu can't quite get there. Alexander touches it inside. It's picked up by the shots midfield, and a long-range shot comes in from the Aldershot number 11, Bernard Mensah. Goes out of play away on that far side for what's going to be a throw to the Cards away on that far side of the field in front of the Chris Lane Terrace. No goals here then at Laithwaite. 11.5 minutes played. Woking 0, Aldershot 0. Live here on BBC Surrey. Commentary also available for you, of course, on the BBC Sport website and the BBC app as well. And as Gavin said just before we kicked off, there will be reaction to come after the game, which we may squeeze in for you before we go off air at 3 o'clock, and if not, it will be available very quickly for you online after the game ends. Reaction, of course, from both camps, and we will, of course, have the local and national sports updates on the BBC Surrey Breakfast Show, 6 till 9 every single weekday morning, and of course on the BBC Surrey Drive Show as well from 5 o'clock, weekday afternoons from 5. Aldershot have got themselves a free kick here. It's halfway inside the Woking half of the field. Callum Reynolds is just having a little word with the referee about something or other. The referee just making sure that the red and white wall, which is consisting of 3 men just at the moment, is just back the regulation 10 yards.
Dion Conroy's going to take
it. Conroy just standing over it, looking like he's fancying his chances. Gets it up and over the wall, but also up and over the crossbar, and it's the first sort of real half meaningful effort, I guess, from the shots so far here this afternoon. 12.5 played, and so far, Rob, certainly the best chance of the game coming for the Cards with Fabio Saraiva.
Yeah, shots will be relieved. I think in their preparation for this game, I think Aldershot will have talked a lot about the first 20 minutes and about the need for Woking to show a response, and that has happened. You know, unfortunately from Aldershot Town's point of view, their sheet is still clean at the minute, and they're just starting to feel their way into the matches and an attacking proposition as well.
Denon Lewis hooking that forward on the far side of the field. Kretschmar is chasing it down, but Anthony Straker gets it out of play in the throng of Aldershot fans away on the Chris Lane Terrace opposite our commentary position here, and there's a huge throng of Aldershot fans as well to the right of us in their segregated part of the Leslie Gosden stand away to our right, that Aldershot are attacking in this first half. Kieran Murtagh gets the little deflection off of one of the Aldershot defenders away on that far side, and it's a throw to the Cards. Forward it goes towards Agwu, holding off his man nicely, spreads it out to that far side. Denon Lewis trying to win the battle to get down to the touchline, wins a corner for the Cards though, and it draws some appreciative applause from the fans behind the goal away to our left-hand side, which is the nicely renamed Jewson stand in recent weeks.
Yeah, good to see Denon Lewis showing some confidence on the ball. That just completely evaporated, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Particularly in December.
Yeah, it certainly did. It's going to be Surrey to swing this corner in from the left-hand side. Only gets it in to the near post, and it's hammered away by Bernard Mensah up to that far side of the field. Out of play for what will be a Woking throw. A bit of a wasteful one there from Fabio Surrey, John.
Yeah, you expect a lot better from him.
You certainly do. We know exactly what he can do. Let's hope his confidence hasn't drained slightly from that missed chance that he had some 5 minutes or so ago. Ugwu wins the header. Straker wins it. Reynolds comes in and gets it clear. It's flicked on by the number 16 Gallagher. Breaks in the midfield towards Carnu. Good challenge coming in by Ralph, but the referee deems that it was an unfair one on the youngster. And it will be an Aldershot free kick, which is a shame that it got dragged back, because Woking looked like they could be in a very promising offensive position. But referee Mr. Quelch, who's refereed one Aldershot game so far this season, which was the goalless draw at Torquay back in October, has a record of 23 yellow cards and no red cards so far this season, Mr. Quelch, and fingers crossed those numbers don't change here this afternoon. Local derby and all that, but we hope that it's played in the right spirit. Here's a good little tussle between Beniou and Murtagh. Breaks here for Surrey, gets it into Ugwu, back to Kretschmar, showed a little bit too much of it, and Aldershot win the ball back, and it breaks for Carnu on the halfway line, attacking down the right hand side. A little bit of skill to try and get himself away from Kieran Murtagh. Does just that, cannons the ball into Brian Sarr. A few half-hearted appeals by the Aldershot fans for handball.
Yeah, no, just a straightforward corner, and Carnu again, good decision making on the ball. Just got the ball down into the channel, run into space, and then took the corner, relieves the pressure for shots, gives them another chance at the other end.
And it's Straker who's jogged across to this near side to take the corner for Aldershot. The number 3 for the shots in their change kit this afternoon of a sky blue shirt, white shorts and sky blue socks. Going to swing it in left-footed, stands it right up towards the far post, nodded back into the danger area, hooked away, breaks it, chance of a drive, charged down well by Kieran Murtagh. It was the number 7 Fenelon who was trying to get the angle for the shot. Murtagh still coming away with the ball. Was he shoved off the ball? Yes, he was, by Fenelon, coming back to do his defensive duties.
And great work there from Kieran Murtagh, doing exactly what the Cards didn't do on Boxing Day, which is to get stuck in and win those second balls.
Do you think perhaps, John, that Kieran Murtagh was, brought back in, him and Charlie Carter, maybe brought back in a bit too quickly to play on Boxing Day?
Well, certainly Kieran Murtagh looked unfit, and, he has been Woking's standout player this season, no two ways about it. And, when Woking perhaps stumbled a little bit in December, that was mainly because Kieran Murtagh was out injured.
Sarr takes the free kick in towards Ugwu. He gets a little touch on it just outside the D, but nobody reacting to the second ball, and the ball goes out of play harmlessly from an Aldershot perspective for a goal kick. We're just coming up to 17 minutes played here at the Laithwaite. No goals. Woking 0, Aldershot 0. And I guess, Rob, at the moment, Woking would take that, wouldn't they, the way the game has started?
Yeah, they probably would. I think Aldershot would as well. I think it's a little bit of feeling their way and just trying to get a footing in the game. Just encourage, as ever, interaction with the fans listening at home, Shots fans and Woking fans. From a Shots point of view, at RobShot66. I've had a couple of messages already from Steve Brett out in Adelaide, listening to the game loud and clear out there, and also Martin in Holland. Good to hear from you guys. Where else are you listening in from? Shots and Woking fans, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. At BBC Surrey Sport as well, if you want to get in touch on the Twitter that way, at BBC Surrey Sport. And as I said earlier on, don't forget we will have reaction to come from both camps pretty soon after the final whistle here this afternoon. We go off air at 3. Don't forget Mark Carter is coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon with the best of his laid-back Sunday between 3 and 5 o'clock this afternoon right here on BBC Surrey. Throw to the Shots down the line. Surrey goes in and wins it, battling away against Rendell, bounces out of play just in front of the Aldershot dugout, and Gary Waddock, the Aldershot manager, in his second spell as Shots boss. Back at the start of this season, of course, the 54-year-old manager had a career of 531 games and 15 goals, and there's a breakdown into the Cards box. Fenelon gets it back, squares out a chance. It was a great chance. Mensah really should have tucked it away. The Cards were cut wide apart as they broke down the right-hand side. Fenelon got into the box, dragged it back. Rendell missed it. Mensah came in right-footed. Really should have hit the target, John.
Well, that is a shocking miss. No two ways about it. I mean, Terrell Thomas made a terrible hash of trying to make the clearance, and it was just absolutely put on a plate for him. And he just stroked it past the post. It was easier to score.
Well, both sides having a wee bit of a let-off then. Surrey forcing a very good save out of Jake Cole. And Mensah skimming one wide of the post when it did look a little bit easier to score. So we still remain goalless here at the Laithwaite. Murtaugh's given it away. It's been picked up here by the number 11 Mensah, charging forward, gets it out to that left-hand side, cutting infield, going for a drive, and it's straight into the hands of the returning Michael Poke, who happily drops on it just inside his 6-yard area. Fairly straightforward save, but the shots, Rob, starting to look a little bit more menacing now.
They are, but they're guilty. Bernard Mensah's guilty of missing a sitter there. He's been one of our most reliable finishers this season, to be fair to him. And there it was literally just pick his spot to nestle it, and unfortunately he's aimed too close to the post, and it's ended up dragging wide. That's a routine finish at any level of football. So, at least Murtaugh forced a very, very good save out of Jake Cole. Mensah can't hide behind that one. That was a shocker.
Clearance is by Jake Cole. Nathan Ralph wins a header forward towards Aguero. Alexander goes in and wins it. It's been flicked on by the number 16 Gallagher, and the shots get it out to this near side for Carnu. He's got Alexander coming up in support. The young man has to go back inside instead to the number 20 Benniou. Benniou gets it onto the edge of the box for Fenelon. A couple of challenges are going in, and the referee deems that the one by Fenelon was indeed a foul, and Woking will have a free kick about halfway inside their own half of the field, fairly central. Terrell Thomas looking like he might want to take it quickly, but gets it out and leaves it for Michael Poke to come out of his area to take it.
And Jamaica as well now is on the map, listening to today. Pete Stamford, the Aldershot Town statistician. So Jamaica, Australia, Holland, come on, can you trump that?
Absolutely. They must be almost into the 2nd of January in Australia and New Zealand. In fact, they must be, I guess. Here's Ralph getting down the right-hand side. Decent ball into the box. He's headed clear by the Shots defence. Murtaugh picks it up on the edge of the box, goes out towards the apex left-hand side, tries to touch it off, wins it back. A little bit of skill by the Woking number 8. Rolls it into the path of Ralph, but it was a little bit too short. Good challenge coming in, but Murtaugh's got it again. Chance to play the ball into the box. Once again, the Shots managed to get it clear, and it's up to Fenelon. Rendell goes in to try and win it. Breaks for the number 20. Benniou gets it to Gallagher. Gallagher gets it out to that far side for Straker. Slides it down the line for Fenelon. Good dummy by Fenelon. Gets himself away from Joey Jones. Jones tugging at the shirt, but Fenelon manages to go on. Gets to the edge of the box and is held up slightly. Now brings Straker into play. Touches it out to that far side. It's Mensah on the edge of the box. Breaking across the edge of the box. Looking for a free kick. Looking for an angle for a shot. Goes down. Nothing given. And the ball is played forward. And in the end, it's going to be Conroy who gets the header away. It's going to be picked up by Kretschmar. Good challenge coming in though by the Shots defence, and in the end neither team really wants to hold on to possession just at the moment. Here's Ugwu, he has it taken off of his toes, and Aldershot in the end scoop it away into the Woking half of the field. Picked up here by the number 11 Mensah up against Brian Sarr. Sarr recovers well enough to get it out, but it is becoming quite stretched, John, and quite end to end.
Yeah, definitely. The game's really opened up in the last 5 minutes. Aldershot have come back into it, and it's end to end stuff at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're just approaching the halfway point of the first half here at the Laithwaite. Live commentary here on BBC Surrey, also on the BBC Sport website and the BBC app as well. It's me, Gary Smith, John Moore and Rob Worrell bringing you the commentary. And at half-time we will, of course, go back to Gavin for the half-time sequence. Here's a ball into the box by Alexander. Chance of a shot coming in. And it drifts harmlessly wide. It was a difficult one to take. It fell between two Woking central defenders there, Rob. That half chance for Fenelon, but Aldershot are starting to find their range just a wee bit.
He's a decent ball in, and he timed his run well, but you'd have been hoping for a little bit better connection from that. We've had an answer, by the way, from Australia. A couple of minutes ago. It was 11:51 p.m. on January the 1st. So,
okay.
Can either of these two teams score on New Year's Day in Australia? They've got about another 7 minutes to do so.
Absolutely. In that part of Australia, I guess in other parts of Australia, it's a totally different time zone. But back here in leafy Surrey, on a fairly sort of grey, miserable, was a little bit wet earlier on, but the rain thankfully has dried up. It is goalless here between Woking and the Shots. Jake Cole with the ball to get it forward. Rendell goes up, touches it inside away from Murtaugh. A little bit of a deflection. Fenelon's going to chase it down on this near side of the field. Ralph there to try and shepherd him. Alexander makes the run inside. Fenelon keeps hold of the ball, touches it infield, gets it back again though, right out on this right-hand touchline. Plays the little deflection off of Nathan Ralph, and the pitch certainly down these touchlines, John, is starting to cut up a little bit, isn't it now?
Yeah, it's very bobbly out there. Now it's on cue, absolutely hammering.
Yeah, absolute downpour coming in. Absolutely, that's the curse of the commentator there, saying there was rain earlier on, but nothing just now. And Alexander's got the ball, plays it in to feet, goes looking for the return again. They work it back here to the number 11, Mensah. Mensah gets it to Beniou. Beniou gets it out to Straker, halfway inside the Woking half of the field. There's a little dummy chance of a ball forward to Rendell, and good covering by Nathan Ralph. Just stuck out a left foot when it looked like Rendell was going to be bearing down on goal.
Yeah, it was a great covering tackle there from the wing back. But Aldershot, on top now. They're playing little balls in and around Woking's box. The movement of the likes of Mensah and Kano is causing problems for Woking. They're not picking them up at the moment.
Shea Alexander is asking for the ball out on this near side, gets it now, looking for support though. Saraiva is there to try and double up, good little 1-2, breaks the ball for Alexander again. Murtagh goes in and closes it down, it still breaks on the halfway line. Gallagher is coming in to get there. Woking are trying to get the ball away from him, and they've done just that, and Kieran Murtagh spreads it out to that far side, and there's a chase on there for Lewis, but he's not going to get there, and they work it back in the end. The shots to Jake Cole, who gets it out to Straker on that far side. Kieran Murtagh snapping into the challenges, though. John did really well to almost set up half a chance.
Yeah, he started really, really well from the cards. Obviously, he's got the armband today, and he's very much leading from the front, isn't he? I'd like to see a little bit more from Kane Ferdinand. He's been anonymous so far.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, John. I was just going to say Ferdinand, hardly mentioned at all in the commentary so far. Like I say, I wasn't there Boxing Day. How did he actually fare? Do you think he has potential within him?
Well, again, Boxing Day, it wasn't really the sort of game to judge him. He must have wondered what on earth he was doing, joining Woking from East Thurrock United. But, I understand that he did obviously play for East Thurrock United against Aldershot in the FA Trophy match, and was very, very impressive. And there's no doubt he has got some quality. When he was at Southend, Peterborough United paid $200,000 for him, and he played in the Championship. So there's definitely something there. And as I said in commentary on Boxing Day, he knows a player Gary Hill knows very, very well. Played in the same youth side as Billy Knott and Gary's son. So he'll be hoping that he can get him going again.
Well, Woking have won themselves a free kick. It's right-hand side as they attack from right to left in this first period. It's sort of towards the apex of the penalty area. Fabio Saraiva has gone across to take it. We know exactly what he can do from a set piece. Hasn't covered himself in glory with the couple of corners that he's taken so far this afternoon, but he may well fancy this one. Jake Cole is certainly lining up a wall, because we've seen Fabio certainly score from this distance before. We remember the winning goal not too long ago here against Bromley. Here he comes now, right-footed, bends it in straight into the hands of Jake Cole, though. Got it on target, but Jake Cole, goalkeeper of his abilities, that's just a fairly routine save.
Yeah, he was hoping perhaps that, Jake Cole might make a move to his right, but he stayed rock solid. Easy catch.
Made it look easy, I'm going to say. Do you know what? The rain's pelting down now, and he gives you that calm assurance. I'm sure you must have felt that many times over the last couple of seasons when he was in the sticks for Woking.
Yeah, although initially he was quite iffy, and there were concerns about him, particularly when the ball came into the box, crosses. I think he was given the name Dracula by the Plymouth fans because he didn't like crosses, but he more than corrected that, and he was a very, very good keeper for the Cards.
Absolutely, very, very good shot stopper is certainly what I'll say. Had his moments, as John quite rightly says, in terms of occasionally defending crosses and positional play, but the Shots now have themselves a free kick in a fairly similar position. It's going to be Mensah who bends it in, left-footed up towards that far side. Terrell Thomas gets a touch on it. Woking haven't quite got it clear properly yet. Now they have the chance to bring it forward. It's spread out to that far side for Murtagh. Plays it across the halfway line. Straker chasing in against Ugwu. Gets it back to Jake Cole. Cole gets it forward first time, left-footed. Reynolds goes in and wins the challenge, and it breaks away on that far side for the Shots to come forward again. They work it back here to Straker, just inside his own half, left-footed, plays it down the inside left channel. Thomas wins the header. Saraiva gets on it to knock it forward towards Ugwu. Kretschmar is there in support, comes away with the ball. The Woking number 15 back in the side this afternoon, gets it out to Denon Lewis, up against Straker. Can the Woking man get round the outside of him? Plays a decent ball into the box. Gozi Ugwu goes for the spectacular overhead. Didn't really come off, and now the Shots have a chance to break down this near side, just in front of our commentary position. Mensah plays it into the feet of Alexander. Good challenge coming back in by Saraiva. Referee deems that it's a foul, though, and it will be a free kick to the Shots, and it brings a reaction, of course, from Messrs Hill and Thompson in the technical area.
Yeah, I think it was a foul. He didn't get anything of the ball, and he brought the man down. So,
therefore,
correct decision by the referee, I believe.
Yeah, he's had a good start to the game. The referee's been nice and clear and decisive when he's needed to. Has let it flow when he can, but he's not letting any petty fouls go unpunished. And this really is end-to-end. There's nothing in it, is there? Both sides have really managed to pierce the other team's defence without creating too many out-and-out chances.
Mensah leaves the free kick for Shay Alexander. 21-year-old defender of Aldershot, plays it in right-footed. Rendell wins the header, almost sneaks it through. Saraiva gets it away. It's going to break away on that far side. Agwu battling in with Straker. Straker manages to get it forward. Fenelon manages to touch it off. Joey Jones completes the clearance up towards Agwu again. Sensible header by the Woking centre forward out to that far side for Denon Lewis. He sees his attempted clearance cannon back off of an Aldershot player though. And at the moment, once again, nobody really wants to sort of put their foot on the ball and have any real possession of the ball, but the shots come forward just inside the Woking half now with Shay Alexander. Plays the ball up into the Woking penalty area. Good call by Michael Poke though. Nice loud call to allow Brian Sarr to let the ball drift through, and the Woking goalkeeper able to gather it in his hands. Just coming up to the half-hour mark, and it's Woking 0, Aldershot 0 here live on BBC Surrey at the Laithwaite Stadium. Commentary, of course, also on the BBC Sport website and the BBC app as well. And at the moment, Rob, fairly even Stephen, I guess, for these two local sides.
It is. What's interesting for me is Aldershot are still trying to play exactly the same way that they did in the first game. Lots of little one-touch passing, gives and goes. Two massive differences today. One, they're up against a much hungrier and more committed Woking side. And secondly, with respect, they're trying to do it on a pitch that's breaking up by the minute in the rain, and that type of football is going to get harder and harder, and we may see a bit more of a war of attrition as the game wears on.
Terrell Thomas just about winning the ball. Rendell's battling in to try and get it. Joey Jones is there as well. Woking getting a little bit in sixes and sevens to try and get it clear. Now the ball's played over the top by Saraiva, looking for the run of Agwu, but Gozzi had checked his run, and the ball quite easily goes through to Jake Cole. Just over 30 minutes played here then at the Laithwaite, still awaiting the opening goal of the afternoon. Don't forget that next Saturday the Cards are on the road up to Wrexham in another massive Vanarama national game. The Shots entertain Southport at the Ebb Stadium. There's a great bit of play forward here by Carnu, plays it into the box. There's appeals for handball against Terrell Thomas. The ball is still bobbling away, and in the end it goes out of play for what will be a goal kick. We'll come back to that in a moment. Rob Worrell is punching his chest as if to say Terrell Thomas took it on his chest. And there were some appeals certainly from the crowd, but possibly more in hope, John, than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. It was not handball, but again, good work from Kanu. What is noticeable, even for a young lad of 17, is his upper body strength, where he's able to shove off the likes of Brian Sarr, and he did the same there, managed to get the ball in.
Michael Poke then with the goal kick forward. Agwu goes up to try and get a little touch on it. Does just that. Kretschmar can't quite get there. Agwu battling away for the second ball again. Kretschmar gets it back to Ralph. Ralph plays it up and over the top. Ferdinand bursting into the box. Left-hand side. Needs some support. Everything behind him at the moment. Gets it back out to this near side for Nathan Ralph. Looking to try and find the angle for the cross. Has it taken off of him far too easily, though, by the Shots defence. And it breaks here for Ferdinand. Once again, plays a loose ball to Terrell Thomas. Gets his feet in a little bit of a mess. Brian Sarr now has it. Brian Sarr comes forward, battling away against Carnu, and in the end it's clipped over the top by Ferdinand, and it goes easily through to Jake Cole. But Ferdinand bursting into the box, nice little ball over the top to find him, John, but Ferdinand a little bit lost when he got into the penalty area.
Well, he didn't really have too many options, did he? You know, Woking were really not getting up alongside him, and then obviously the ball got played into midfield, then it all got a little bit scrappy.
Agwu in the centre circle tries to win it. Saraiva goes in against Benny Yu, and it looks like it's going to be the first yellow card of the afternoon here for Fabio Saraiva, who's had quite an eventful first half, had the chance to score in the opening 10 minutes or so that forced a great save out of Jake Cole, and it can't say that the yellow card comes without warning. He's had a couple of speakings to by the referee this afternoon already.
Yeah, he has. He was just a little bit late there, wasn't he?
He was indeed. And as I was saying before, that action hotted up a bit. The Shots entertaining Southport next Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock kickoff, of course, and the Cards on their travels. John and I will be at the racecourse ground in Wrexham. Always a very nice place to go and commentate, and of course you can hear full match commentary with Gavin and Rob of the Shots against Southport on the BBC Sport website and the BBC app as well. Updates throughout the afternoon with Joe Talbot on BBC Surrey. Previews from 2 o'clock as well. Crawley will be involved in that mix as well. as the Shots entertain Southport and the Cards go on their travels to the racecourse ground. Here's Ugwu battling away for the ball left-hand side. Little back heel finds Nathan Ralph, plays a first-time ball into the box. It evades all of the Woking players there. It's going to break for Denon Lewis halfway inside the Aldershot half of the field. Rendell coming back to do a bit of defensive work. It's worked its way back to Brian Sarr. Sarr in towards Ugwu, takes it down on the chest brilliantly, tries to get the shot away. Good defending by the Shots defence. The Cards still have the ball on the edge of the box. Ralph plays it in. Reynolds gets a little flick on the ball away to that far side. Denon Lewis, is he going to keep it in play? Yes, he is. Can he find an angle for the cross? Very deep one it is, and there's a little touch on it that takes the ball out of play on this near side. And there's again some appreciative applause from the Cards fans away behind that goal to our left-hand side in the Jewson stand, as their side enjoy a little bit of possession in Aldershot territory. The cross takes a deflection and the ball goes out of play, and it's gone away for a goal kick. And once again, John, as we've said so many times this season, it's the final delivery into the box that's sort of letting the Cards down a bit.
Yeah, although that was good hold-up play from Gozi Ugwu. Again, he looks really up for it today, and when that cross came into the box, you wanted him on the end of it, not Kretschmer.
Yeah, absolutely. Goal kick it is, though, to the Shots. 34, nearly 35 minutes played here at the Laithwaite Stadium. Floodlights are on, and it's only just gone 1:30 in the afternoon. That's an indication of how grey and miserable and cloudy it is here in Surrey this afternoon. A very happy new year to you. If you've missed any of the commentary so far, very happy new year. Hope your celebrations went very well. Hope you've fully recovered, or you're still recovering. Perhaps you're just laying on the sofa tuned into the football this afternoon.
You know, you just have a look where the Woking back line is now at the moment. I mean, I'm not kidding you, on Boxing Day it was a good 15 yards further back.
Joey Jones coming in to win the ball for Woking. Plays a strange pass as he tried to play it square to Nathan Ralph, who's being closed down here by Fenelon, but Ralph wraps his foot around it and gets it clear. It's flicked up and flicked on by Surrey. They work it out to this near side again, though, the Shots. Here's Carnu getting past Surrey, breaking his way into the box. Murtaugh's got to be careful. Carnu's done well, but plays it into the side netting. But Carnu, Rob, only has really one thought in his mind, doesn't he, when he gets the ball? He just wants to go forward and try and get to the byline and get something in the box.
Yeah, he's really direct. He wants to hurt Woking as soon as he gets the ball. Just while you've come to me, a few more people have come in. So we've got the very glamorous, of course, Runcorn, where Steve Aspinall's listening in, and Baz Watram in sunny Sheffield, and then a couple of more exotic ones as well. David Hamilton is listening in Oklahoma, USA.
Wow. That's very nice. Not the David Hamilton, is it, Rob?
I don't think so. I think he'd be watching... what's the team he's involved with? Fulham, that's right.
He's on air, I think, on BBC Sussex at the moment, that David Hamilton. He's a Fulham man himself, isn't he, as well, I think. So, not that he wouldn't be listening to this game, of course. Woking against Aldershot. Here's Ralph on this near side, trying to get the better of Carnu. Has he running out of play? Referee having a close look. Carnu was trying to run it out, and now Carnu bundles over the Woking man. And the referee, Mr. Quelch, deems that that's going to be a free kick to the Cards on this near touchline.
Yeah, just a bit of inexperience there from Carnu, really. He just had to stay upright, stay on your feet, jockey your man. He's not going anywhere.
Well, Kretschmer has come over to take this one. It's going to be an in-swinger. Jake Cole is just preparing his defence. The Aldershot defence is lined up pretty much just outside the 6-yard box. Here comes Kretschmer with the ball in. Jake Cole elects to punch that one away. He was under a little bit of pressure. It's nodded back into the danger. There's a little touch on by Joey Jones, but it was in front of all of the Woking forwards, and it bounces all the way through to Jake Cole. Decent delivery in throw from Kretschmer. One of the better ones we've seen so far this afternoon. Jake Cole, though, gets set to make this clearance then for Aldershot. Booms it forward into Woking territory. Ralph goes up against Carnu. Linesman and referee deem that the ball came off of Nathan Ralph, and it's going to be a throw to the Shots right in front of the Woking dugout that Che Alexander has come forward to take. Still awaiting the first goal of the afternoon here. We've hit 37 minutes in the first half here at the Laithwaite, here on BBC Surrey. Commentary, of course, available on the BBC Sports website and the BBC app as well. And in the end, it's worked back here, although Reynolds misses it. Ugwu tries to close it down, but Jake Cole scurries out of his 18-yard box to get it forward. Joey Jones wins the header, breaks here to Murtaugh. Didn't have quite as much time as he thought, was put under a little bit of pressure. Finds Nathan Ralph on this near side, plays it up and over the top. Kretschmer does well, gets around his man, does he? Max Kretschmer trying to break into the box. Good covering challenge by Callum Reynolds, because Kretschmer would have been through one-on-one had he got himself away there.
Yeah, tremendous defending there by Reynolds. Read the situation perfectly, stayed strong, didn't dive in.
Gallagher plays it through. Carnew's gone down. It's going to be a free kick to the Shots just outside the box. He was upended by Nathan Ralph. Be interesting to see what the referee does with this one. I think it's only going to be a yellow card.
Yeah, yellow at most. I think there was plenty of cover on, but it was a lovely, intelligent ball from Jake Gallagher. Slipped through. Carno just drifting into the inside channel.
It is going to be a yellow card indeed for Nathan Ralph, second Woking player to find himself into the book this afternoon.
Yeah, I was just going to say it is a mark of how much better Woking have played today, that Gallagher hasn't been able to stamp his authority on the midfield like he did on Boxing Day. You know, Kieran Murtagh has gone toe-to-toe with him out there today so far.
Yep. But Aldershot now have a free kick, which is in a dangerous position. They've got about 4 players crowded around it at the moment, although Alexander is just jogging away to take up a position on the right-hand side of the box. And standing over it, we've got Benny Yu. We've also got Mensah standing over it as well. Conroy, I think, quite fancies it, the centre half. He took one before that sort of went up and over the crossbar. And
Jake Gallagher as well, but he's wandering away.
He's wandering away from it now as well, and it's looking very much like it's going to be Conroy or it's going to be Mensah. Mensah possibly left-footed, or Conroy just striking it right-footed. There's a 4-man Woking wall. Here comes Conroy, plays it up and over, and it's just wide of the post. And that is possibly the closest that Aldershot have come so far. There were 1 or 2 Shots fans, but you could probably hear in the background, thought it had nestled in the corner of the net. But that was the side netting just rustling there. Michael Poke scurrying away to his left, I think had it covered, and it's into the side netting.
Mighty close, much better from Conroy. We haven't seen him generally taking too many free kicks. He's obviously unearthed something in training that's gone well. That was much better. He got it up and he got it down, but he just missed to the right of the goal, probably by no more than a foot.
Poke's taken the kick forward. It's been headed back by Reynolds. Joey Jones battling against Fenlon on the edge of the box. Has to scoop it back to Gallagher, and in the end Woking do manage to tow it away. Picked up though by Conroy. Plays it into feet. Now it's spread out here to Alexander. Alexander tries to touch it to Carnu, but the ball goes out of play. Took a bit of a bobble, I think, in the young man's defence, and goes out of play for what will be a Woking throw. Inside the final 5 minutes here at the Lathway in the first half. It's Woking 0, Aldershot 0, live here on BBC Surrey. Commentary, of course, also available on the BBC Sport website and the BBC app as well.
And available in the Isle of Wight. Good afternoon, Steve Ray.
Good afternoon indeed, wherever anybody may be listening in around the world at the moment. There's a knock forward here to Rendell. Touches it out to Carnu on this near side. Brian Starr thought about making the challenge. Carnu's got it back to Alexander. Alexander plays it in first time. There's a diving header away by Kieran Murtagh, the Woking skipper, flying across his 6-yard box to get it away, but it does result in an Aldershot corner on this near side, and a chance for them to drop one right underneath the crossbar if they want to here for Michael Poke to try and deal with. Michael Poke back in the side, of course, this afternoon. One of 5 changes that Gary Hill made to the starting 11 from the side that started the fixture on Boxing Day over at the Ebb Stadium. Hand goes up, and the cluster of Aldershot players just in and around the 6-yard box make their moves now. It's in towards Rendell. There's appeals for handball. The referee waves it away. Well, I've got to say, I thought it struck a hand, but possibly not hand to ball. Goziogwu battling away for the ball on this near side. There's a flick out of play by the Aldershot defence, and it's going to be a Woking throw. And the handball claims, Rob?
No, no, didn't get excited myself, didn't appeal myself, and that usually tells me it wasn't a penalty.
That's fair enough.
Too close.
I'll use that as a yardstick in the second half then, Rob. Ralph takes the throw, gets it into Kretschmar. Ralph tries to play it back over the top towards Agwu, but the ball goes out of play, and we're 42 and a half minutes in to the first half, so just a couple of minutes of the 45 remaining, plus the obligatory 1 minute that we always seem to get, John, don't we, at the end of a first half? There always seems to be at least 1 minute added on for something. And it's a throw to the Shots that Alexander takes forward. Rendell can't quite win it. Murtagh picks it up, clips it forward. There's a header clear by Reynolds. Ball is bouncing around again. Now it's been played forward down the Woking left-hand side. Terrell Thomas comes across, beats Fenelon to it, and nods the ball out of play, and the Shots have a throw deep in Woking territory in their left-back position. The Cards playing right to left in this first period, defending that Leslie Gosden stand, and attacking the Jewson stand away to our left-hand side. A little bit of play by Alexander. He gets the ball back. He's challenged by Sir Ivor. He's happy to see it go out of play. Shay Alexander. And there's a throw to the shots again. Taken short, played back to Alexander, and at the moment it's just a succession of throw-ins right down in the corner away to our right-hand side, the Woking left-back position. And Shay Alexander looking short for Mensah, sends him away though. Carnu comes short again, they get it in short to Benyu, gets it back to Alexander. A couple more challenges come in, and once again the ball goes out of play. We are inside the final minute of the allotted 45 here.
That extra minute is just to make sure the tea's nice and hot at half-time.
That's what it is, absolutely. Alexander cannons the ball back off of Kieran Murtagh. Ball goes out of play. Referee Mr. Quelch has a look at the watch, and the board should go up any second now.
I should think it's a bit Quelchy out there too.
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah. Absolutely. Waiting for the ball to come back into play here. And it will be an Aldershot throw once again as when play resumes for Shay Alexander to take. Once again looking for options. Takes it in towards Carnu. Bundled off the ball by Kieran Murtagh. Breaks for Nathan Ralph. Nice little bit of skill by the Woking man. Gets himself into the Aldershot half of the field. Another little bit of skill. Benyu bundles him over. And a combination of Shay Alexander and Kunde Benyu upend Nathan Ralph. And it looks very much like the Cards are going to end the half with a free kick on this near side of the field, just in front of our commentary position. 1 extra minute, there you go, obligatory. Always seems to be the way.
It's not always been a favourite minute of Aldershot Town's. I do appreciate it was on Boxing Day, but let's hang on here.
Yeah, Nathan Ralph gets the ball from Surrey, once again trying to get round the outside of his man on the touchline, but it goes out of play for what will be a Woking throw. And let's just assume that the teams are going to go in goalless at the break, John. Woking,
don't do that.
You know, the way that the game panned out on Boxing Day, Woking would have taken that before kick-off today.
Yeah, most definitely, and there's no doubt Woking have very much raised their game, certainly in this half, but as we all know, there's still another 45 to come.
Absolutely. Ralph has the chance of a cross into the box. It's cleared away by Benyu. Referee has another quick look at the watch. Any second now we're going to be hearing the half-time whistle. And Woking ending with a throw deep in Aldershot territory, taken by Ralph in to Murtagh. There goes the half-time whistle, and the players that troop off in the rain to get themselves a bit of a breather and a half-time cuppa. And we have no goals here at the Laithwaite Stadium. Great chance for Fabio Saraiva early on, great chance for Bernard Mensah for the shots. Neither could take advantage of those, and it means that as we hand back to Gavin Dennison, we have a half-time score here at the Laithwaite of Woking 0, Aldershot Town 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Gary Smith. John Moore, from a Woking perspective, I mean, one thing sort of watching the game, obviously there's a number of things that are quite different. I think one thing that certainly helped Woking is that while they're not playing two up front, Gozyugwu actually has someone near him. Kretschmar is just sitting in behind him, and when Woking do get the ball either at the back or in midfield, they've now got two options to try and slide forward.
Yeah, definitely, and of course it helps that Woking are playing a much higher line. They've moved 10-15 yards up the pitch, so they're condensing the play more. It means it's easier for the midfield to make contact with those front two. And Gozyugwu, I still think could do with even more support, really, because to me, if you can get around him, he's certainly a player that looks to me as though he can cause problems.
And Kieran Murtagh, I noted in the first half that at one point he made more tackles in about 30 seconds than he did in his entire performance on Boxing Day, and I think we're seeing the real Kieran Murtagh today, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kieran Murtagh is a very big player for Woking, make no bones about it. And Jake Gallagher on Boxing Day had the run of the park. It's been noticeable today that he hasn't featured anywhere near as much. And in fact, I would say Murtagh has edged it in that first half. Although, looking at the game as a whole, I would say Aldershot possibly slightly shaded it. I think Woking started very, very well. Certainly for the first 15-20 minutes were dominant. Obviously, if that goal had gone in from Saraiva, it would have perhaps changed things even more. They didn't capitalise on it, and Aldershot, to their credit, have come back into the game. Obviously, Mensah had a golden opportunity, which he didn't take, but at the moment, it's a difficult one to call, really.
Thank you very much, John Moore. Rob Worrell here as well. I think John's absolutely right that Aldershot have obviously grown into the game as it's gone on, but I think Gary Hill will be very happy because Michael Pope hasn't really had a save to make. There was a long-range effort from Shamir Fenlon that he saved very, very comfortably indeed, but by and large the shots haven't really troubled the Woking goal.
No, and what's notable is that we took our first 2 chances on Boxing Day, and when the golden opportunity fell to Bernard Mensah today, he didn't take it. Things that have impressed me, though, for Aldershot Town is the way they've approached the game today. I don't think the management team have made sure there was absolutely no complacency. I think he prepared them to expect a bit of a response from Woking. They've largely held firm, competed well, defended well. I think Callum Reynolds and Dion Conroy at the back have been outstanding in the first half.
I was actually going to mention that.
Yeah.
I think it's fairly indicative of the difference between today's game and the Boxing Day game is that Aldershot's man of the match has been Callum Reynolds, whereas of course on Boxing Day we were talking about the forwards and midfielders mainly.
We were talking about Jake pushing forward and Rendell and his finishing. You're absolutely right. I have to say, from an Aldershot point of view, looking at the Woking team, only one player impressed me on Boxing Day, and he has done again today, and that's Guzzi Ogwar. I think he's quite a specimen. He obviously has got goals in his locker as well, but he's a bit of a beast. He holds it up really well, and he's giving Reynolds and Dion quite a handful out there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Rob Worrell. So Rob, John and Gary Smith all back with second half commentary of Woking against Aldershot Town from Kingfield in about 10 minutes time here on BBC Surrey. The half-time score, Woking 0, Aldershot Town 0. We'll round up some of the other sporting stories in just a moment. Very quickly, just a chance to say hello to a few listeners who we didn't mention in the first half. Good afternoon to Malcolm Roberts, who says he's been in Lapland with his kids for Christmas and New Year. It says, glad I missed Boxing Day, listening in now and hoping for better from Woking today. Well, it certainly has been better, Malcolm, from the Cards. And a very good evening to Paul Ray. Says Paul and Wendy, 100% shot supporters all the way from West Australia. Love you blokes. Well, thank you very much indeed, Paul. And Martin in Holland says, Happy New Year, shots, hoping for a result and close in on the playoffs. At BBC Surrey Sport, at RobShot66, if you want to drop us a tweet during half-time. As I said, coming up, we'll be hearing from the England manager Gareth Southgate. We'll be looking back on yesterday's defeat for Crawley Town, and we'll be hearing from Andy Murray, and we'll also grab a bit of darts as well. But the time here on BBC Surrey is 10 minutes to 2.
Into 2017
with BBC Surrey.
Hi, I'm Tim Darrens, the sports editor.
How will you spend your new year?
Once again, I'm looking for promotions for either Aldershot, Woking or Crawley, but it looks a bit like just staying up. We'll do it for Woking this year. Will Cobham's Premier League stars from Chelsea win the Premier League? Can Surrey's cricketers take some silverware this summer? And it's both an Ashes and a British Lions tour year. Get in there.
Have a very happy new year with BBC Surrey.
Sports Special on BBC Surrey.
Well, welcome back to a grey and wet Kingfield on this New Year's Day afternoon. Woking 0, Aldershot Town 0 is the half-time score. Probably a fair reflection of the opening 45 minutes, and we'll have second half commentary very, very soon. Indeed, just one other game going on today. It's in the Premier League. Watford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 is a half-time score. That game about 20 minutes old. Well, sticking with football, and England manager Gareth Southgate has told the BBC that England's mental state heading into major tournaments needs to change if they're to have success. And he says that's something that the national side have really struggled with across recent years.
Over the last few years, when I was playing, there were a couple of tournaments where we went in as genuinely one of the favourites, and in the last few years we've been going in as in hope rather than being a top-ranked team. And where we want to get to is that we're going in as one of the teams that are considered genuine favourites, because our results over the 2-3 years against big teams as well as in qualifying have been outstanding. So the physical side is different, but the mental peaking is key, I think.
That's Crawley's Gareth Southgate speaking to the BBC's Gary Richardson earlier on today, and that was a much longer interview, which you can get on the BBC Sport website. Really interesting discussion there between Gareth Southgate and Gary Richardson. Sticking with football, and yesterday Crawley Town went to a 2-0 defeat down at Plymouth Argyle, and after the game, Crawley Town assistant manager Matt Gray, formerly of the Shots, of course, he's looking to target stability and improved home form in 2017. The Reds lost their last game of the calendar year yesterday against the League Two leaders, Plymouth Argyle, and it sees them 15th in the table. Tomorrow, they host Yeovil Town at the Broadfield Stadium.
I think obviously this is our 23rd game today. We're exactly halfway through the season. I think especially away from home, there's been some good performances and some good results, but there's been certainly some performances and results that we've needed to learn from and learn from quickly. In the last 2 performances away from home at Crewe and here today, I think our shape of organisation has been excellent. I think we obviously got something at Crewe and we maybe deserve something today.
I suppose the good news is heading into 2017, there's been nothing really much wrong with the home form recently. Now you've got 3 games at home on the bounce to really push your way back up the table. Yeah,
I think you're spot on. I think that the home form has been really good, and the fans since himself and Dermot have come in the summer at home have been brilliant with us. They've really backed us and supported us, and there's a good feel about when we play at home, and the results are shown in that. I just feel, reflecting on the first half of the season, that we've given them some sloppy goals away in the early stages of the games away from home, which is down the road cost us. We're working hard on that, and I think you can see that in the 2 performances we've had, our last 2 away performances, and we'll look to put that right in the second half of the season.
Just very lastly for me, Matt, if I can, heading into 2017, I think it's fair to say the club has made progress under Dermot in the last few months. What are you really hoping for now heading into 2017?
I think what I hope for walking into 2017 is the same thing we said at the start of the season. Is when me and Dermot came in, there was massive upheaval and we only had literally 3 players on contract. One that left us, one we sold, and Joe McNerney. So we've literally started from scratch. We've had to either re-sign players or sign new ones. So stability is very, very important at this club for the first season for myself and Dermot being in charge. So stability, climbing up the table, a top half finish would be superb. If we can have a half threat into the playoffs, that would be beyond everyone's dreams at the start of the season. So yeah, just the stability on and off the pitch and building the foundations for hopefully some brighter things at the club.
Thank you. Unlucky today, but Happy New Year.
That's the Crawley Town assistant manager Matt Gray speaking to our reporter Mitch Mansfield after yesterday's 2-0 defeat against the League 2 leaders Plymouth Argyle that lost down at Home Park, leaves Crawley 15th in the League 2 table going into 2017. We'll switch sports now, and Oxshot's Andy Murray says his first big target of 2017 will be to try to win the Australian Open in Melbourne. Speaking after being awarded a knighthood, and very well deserved it is in the New Year's honours list, Murray is hoping that after 5 losing appearances in the final in Melbourne, he can go one better this year.
Every year I've gone there, I've felt like I've played well. I love the conditions there, they suit my game pretty good, but yeah, it's not managed to get over that final match. But hopefully this will be the year of 2016. Obviously finished very well, so hopefully can bring some of that form into the beginning of 2017 and yeah, have a good run in Melbourne.
Sir Andy Murray, how does it sound to you?
That sounds strange, obviously. It's big honour, obviously, to be asked. Great recognition for, my results over the last few years, and it was obviously a very nice way to finish 2016 or start 2017. But I'm more than happy just being known as Andy. That's fine by me.
You've had obviously an epic year that's been very well documented, and what a great way to kind of finish it off. I mean, when you sort of started out on this journey, when you were 14, you decided, right, that's it, I'm taking on. In your wildest dreams that you'd kind of get to this level, Olympic gold, Wimbledon champion, and now a knighthood, at such a young age. I mean, it's incredible, really.
Yeah, I mean, when I went over to Spain, it was never, when I was a kid, I didn't sort of. A lot of people say, I dreamt of winning Wimbledon or dreamt of, being #1 in the world. Like, I didn't really. When I went over to Spain, I went there to try to become a professional tennis player, and give myself the best chance of doing that. And, normally in tennis, it's sort of, you say top 100 is where you want to get to. That means you're playing on the main tour and most of the big events. And that was, my first real goal that I had. And, once you get to the top 100, then you say, okay, want to get into the top 50 and so on. And never expected to do any of the things that I've done, along with my brother. It's just, amazing that it's happened to both of us. And, it's taken obviously a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifices to get to, the level we've got to. But certainly never expected to do any of the stuff I've done.
That's Sir Andy Murray speaking ahead of the Australian Open in Melbourne, which gets underway in a couple of weeks' time. And just to sort of round up the rest of the day's sports, later on at the World Darts Championships at London's Alexandra Palace, the world number one, Michael van Gerwen takes on fellow Dutchman Raymond van Barneveld in the first semi-final. Barney, of course, beat Phil Taylor yesterday. And that's after Peter Wright faces defending champion Gary Anderson. And Anderson looking for his third straight title at Ali Pali. So here on BBC Surrey, we're about 2 or 3 minutes away from the start of the second half. Woking 0, Aldershot Town 0 is the score at the break. Both teams having one really outstanding chance. After 8 minutes, Fabio Saraiva was denied a very good save by Aldershot Town goalkeeper Jake Cole, and then 10 minutes later, Bernard Mensah with a terrible miss after Kanu took advantage of Terrell Thomas's mistake. Got a little right-wing crossing, and Mensah somehow squirted it wide from about 5 or 6 yards. Apart from that, it was more long-range efforts from Fenelon, Dion Conroy, a Fabio Saraiva free kick as well. So 0-0, probably a fair score at the break here at Kingfield. So as we said, second half commentary coming up on BBC Surrey, on the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sport app. The time is approaching 1 minute to 2.
Into 2017 with BBC Surrey.
On your first laid-back Sunday of 2017, we'll look back on some of our favourite guests from the past year.
You can't do this unless you are absolutely passionate about it.
From Paul Jones to Priscilla Presley, Midjoa to Shalimar.
We all wish to be as popular as we can, and we want our song played as many times as possible.
We'll take you on a musical journey through the decades.
We cannot get them all in, but we'll do our best.
Mark Carter.
So I hope you can join me this New Year's Day from 3 on BBC Surrey.
Sports Special. Aldershot Town. Crawley Town. Woking. Farnborough. BBC Surrey.
And Mark Carter following us at 3 o'clock on this New Year Day special. We're with you until then. We'll try and get reaction after the game, but it will be a little bit tight. So if we don't get it on air before 3 o'clock, then we will have it on the Twitter feed, on the website, and in the breakfast show sport bulletins from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning as well. We're still waiting for the two teams to come out in the second half, but there are probably about 800 or 900 Woking fans, Aldershot Town fans here. I think plenty more Woking fans, of course, being at Kingfield. The Aldershot Town, there are plenty of umbrellas up over on the far side on that open Chris Lane terrace, but they're a hardy bunch over there, and they're currently well wrapped up against the elements as Woking come out for the start of the second half. First goal of the afternoon in the Premier League. Harry Kane has made it Watford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Will we get a goal in the second half here in Surrey under grey, wet skies here at the home of Woking FC? 0-0 at the break. And I'll now hand you over to our second half commentary team, Rob Worrell of the Aldershot Town media team, the Woking press officer John Moore, and Gary Smith.
Thanks very much indeed, Gavin. Welcome back, everybody, then here at the Laithwaite Stadium. A very wet and miserable Laithwaite Stadium here, the home of Woking FC. Full second half commentary to come on this local Derby Day, New Year's Day fixture between the Cards and the Shots. Goalless at the break. Woking back onto the field of play, ready to go for the second half. No sign of any changes, and you can probably hear the cheers in the background as the Aldershot team come out onto the pitch for this second half. The Cards are going to be playing left to right in this second period. Red and white half shirts, of course, black shorts and white socks, and the Shots in their change kit of a sky blue shirt, white shorts and sky blue socks. So the Cards defending the Dewson stand and attacking the Leslie Gosden stand in this second half. Couple of people to mention who've been in touch on Twitter that I managed to get a look at half time. Tim Griffiths, good afternoon to you, Tim, one of my older sparring partners from back in the day as well. Simon Doy is there listening in central Woking with Candy, of course, hoping we can get a result. Happy New Year to all of you is what he says. And Martin McEnroy as well, listening in from a wet Woking with young Charlie and Jen, hoping the Shots fans don't get too wet on the Chris Lane terrace. I think he's being a little bit tongue-in-cheek there. I should say a big thank you as well to Rob Worrell, part of our commentary team here today, for providing the half-time refreshment. Very nice of you, Rob. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, it's my job. It's got to be done.
Where's mine?
Yeah. John, you disappeared, mate. You snooze, you lose. And I could only carry 3, sorry.
My regular summariser, I think, has it as a New Year resolution that he will provide a cup of tea at some point during 2017. John, is that fair to say?
Maybe.
OK, we're off and underway here at the Laithwaite then in the second half. And Kieran Murtagh getting the ball clear into the shots half of the field for Agwu to take it on his chest, trying to battle his way past Straker and Reynolds, and Reynolds comes in and hooks it clear out of play for what will be an early Woking throw on this near side. 5 changes for the Cards here today. If you missed any of the first half or the team news, the shots unchanged as you possibly might have expected from a side that won 4-0 in their last outing. Only able to name 4 subs this afternoon, the shots, but they have an unchanged starting 11. As for the Cards, the starting 11 is Michael Pope, Terrell Thomas, Joey Jones, Brian Sarr, Kieran Murtagh, Gozi Agwu, Nathan Ralph, Fabio Saraiva, Max Kretschmar, Denon Lewis and Kane Ferdinand, who we really didn't see too much of in the first period. Be hoping for better things from him in this second half. Agwu was being pulled back there surely by Straker after Kretschmar had laid off a nice little back heel. On the bench for Gary Hill this afternoon, we should say Brandon Hall, Jake Caprice, Frankie Sutherland, Anthony Edgar and Chike Candy is on there as well. Yakubu not featuring at all in the 16 here this afternoon. And just an update on one of the Premier League games that kicked off this afternoon. It's Harry Kane who's given Spurs the lead away at Vicarage Road, the home of Watford. Here's a free kick though, played in by Kretschmar. Agwu goes up to try and win it. Kretschmar trying to get on the second ball as it was cleared by the Shots defence, and now Straker has it, gets it forward to Fenelon. He touches it back to Benyu, and Benyu gets it up and over the top, and it's being taken under control nicely by Carnu, but Nathan Ralph comes across and shovels it into the Chris Lane terrace on that far side. And the Aldershot fans been in good voice, Rob, this afternoon for the despite the weather and the conditions that they're suffering over there. They're in very good voice.
They won't mind that as long as they come away with the 3 points. Here's Shots on the attack.
Good ball into the box. Terrell Thomas gets a touch on it, breaks for Saraiva, plays it clear first time. Reynolds is underneath it, has to watch it, decides to nod it back to Jake Cole. Very familiar face down here, of course. 31-year-old, 63 appearances in his time here at the Laithwaite for Woking, former QPR, Oxford, Barnet goalkeeper amongst other teams that he's played for. Has it just inside his penalty area and gets it clear into the Woking half of the field. Rendell tries to flick it on. Fenelon waits for the ball to come down. Joey Jones beats him to it. Now Terrell Thomas goes up and gets it. They work it here to Mensah. Mensah gets it out to this near side for Straker. The Aldershot left as they play in the second half. First time ball into the box. Rendell coming in on the far post, has it taken off his toes, breaks for Gallagher, still inside the box, up against Ferdinand, trying to get the better of the young home debutant. Ferdinand holding him up well though, and does very well. A little bit of skill by the Woking number 22, and he gets it up the field to Agwu, who holds off the attentions of Alexander. He's got Denon Lewis racing forward on this near side if he can find him, but they've gone backwards instead. Now the ball is over the top and the flag goes up on this near side. Good hold up play though, John, once again by Gozi Agwu, bringing his team into play. Shame he couldn't turn it around because Lewis was escaping in all sorts of space down this near side.
Yeah, Woking just needed to move it a little bit quicker, but as you say, good work from Gozi Agwu. You know, he really has come on leaps and bounds really from around about sort of November. Prior to that, I think a lot of Woking fans were raising their eyebrows thinking, what on earth has Gary Hill done? But you know, he's very much a confidence player and he looks really impressive out there.
Kieran Murtagh picking the ball up just inside his own half, gets it up to the halfway line for Kretschmar, stabs it back to Saraiva, into the feet of Agwu, touches it off to this near side for Fabio Saraiva. Can he find a ball into the box? Sorry, Kretschmar it was, my apologies, who ended up playing the ball into the box. Saraiva it was who was chasing forward for it, but in the end it's a poor cross in. It sort of looped up really a bit like a pitching wedge effort. And Jake Cole was able to gather it quite easily. Gets it to Straker. Straker plays it all the way down the left flank. Fenelon trying to chase it in and keep it in play. Joey Jones happy to see the Aldershot number 7 just knock it out of play on this near side, and the Cards have a throw in their right back position. Just over 4 minutes played, second half here at the Laithwaite, live on BBC Surrey, and of course commentary available on the BBC Sport website and the BBC app as well. If you missed any of the first half, a very, very happy New Year to you, wherever you may be listening in. I know we had some tweets during the first half of people listening in all sorts of exotic and not so exotic places. And if you want to get your tweets in this afternoon, at BBC Surrey Sport, at BBC Surrey Sport. Well, Murtagh's come away with the ball. Kretschmar's gone down on the halfway line, holding his face as if he took an elbow into the face. I followed the ball. We'll come back to that in a second because Ralph has the ball on that far side. He's cut into the box, tries to drive it right-footed, wins the corner. Kretschmar's got himself up, but the referee now wants a word with one of the Aldershot players.
Reynolds, is he seen something? He didn't give a foul.
No.
He didn't indicate advantage either.
He allowed the game to go, did Mr. Quelch. He has a card in his hand that looks like a yellow one for Callum Reynolds, the skipper.
Well, I saw the incident very clearly. Kretschmar was trying to dart forward and Reynolds just caught him in the face, you know. It was deliberate, but I don't think he meant to maim him or anything like that. But
No.
it's clearly a foul and clearly a yellow card, no more than that.
Well, a decent bit of advantage played by Mr. Quelch, because the Cards were on a little bit of a counter-attack. Nathan Ralph it was who tried to find himself a little bit of space.
It's Shea Alexander who's been booked.
It all results in a corner to the Cards away on that far side that Kretschmar takes right-footed, swings it right in, and Jake Cole, under no pressure whatsoever, is able to grab that inside the 6-yard box. And it's not a great ball into the box, but it found its way into the 6-yard box, John. But it's too easy for Jake Cole just to pluck it out of the air. Just bear with me now. The flag goes up on that far side as Fenelon was trying to escape down that far side. Scorer of one of the goals, of course, on Boxing Day afternoon. And we've had a frantic opening 6 minutes or so to the second half, Rob.
We have, yeah, Kanu bringing that ball down really, really well there. And I wasn't sure for a moment whether that was going to be a free kick or the offside. He's gone with the offside. As you say, the Shots fans on the far side making themselves heard now. We had an interesting situation first half. Normally, in that kind of terrace, the fans would gravitate towards the end their team were attacking, but they didn't. About half of them chose to stay at the end that the Woking fans are up, more for the banter, I guess, and the bragging rights. But now, of course, they are really pushed down to the one end.
Yep. Murtaugh's taken the ball off of the Aldershot team away on that far side. Bends across into the box. Reynolds gets it away. It hits Conroy on the edge of the box. He then stabs out a foot, gets it clear, and here's Rendell halfway inside the Aldershot half. Plays it out towards this near side. Joey Jones had to get there because Fenelon would have been bearing down on goal had the ball got past Joey Jones, but he comes away with the ball and he clips it out to that far side for Saraiva on the halfway line. Drifts inside, left-footed, plays a poor pass. Gallagher picks it up. It's fed infield. And it breaks here for Nathan Ralph. Ralph trying to get the better of Ben Yu, slides it infield to Saraiva. Saraiva forward to Kretschmar. Conroy does well. Kretschmar battling away for it again. Takes a deflection, goes away for what will be an Aldershot throw away on that far side of the field. 7.5 minutes played almost here at the Laithwaite. Woking 0, Aldershot 0, live here on BBC Surrey. Don't forget reaction to come after the game this afternoon. We might manage to squeeze some reaction in from one of the camps or the other before we go off air at 3 o'clock. If not, interviews will be available for you online very quickly after the game. And of course, we'll have the local and national sports updates on the BBC Surrey Breakfast Show between 6 and 9 every half an hour every weekday morning, and also on the BBC Surrey Drive Show from 5 o'clock as well. And of course, next Saturday, things pretty much back to normal. The Shots entertaining Southport. Woking are away at Wrexham. Crawley will be involved in the mix as well. Joe Talbot will be on air from 2 o'clock on BBC Surrey. And there'll be previews of all 3 games with myself, Gavin, and John Barnett as well. And then, of course, full match commentary of the 3 games as well. Ball breaks for Agwu. Gets it out to this near side for Denon Lewis. Chance to try and open himself up and go at Straker. Cuts inside, goes back outside. Good bit of skill by the Woking number 16. Plays it into the box. Little deflection, takes it away though, and Kanu picks the ball up away on that far side. And now there's a handball given against Nathan Ralph. And it's a free kick to the Shots, but better from Denon Lewis, John.
Yeah, much better. Good to see him wanting to take his full back on. And I think Woking need to do more of that. I think they need to try and use more of the flanks if they can, because I think if they can get the ball in, they can cause problems.
Joey Jones has won the header from the little clipped ball forward. It breaks for Ferdinand. He gets it back to Joey Jones. It was slightly behind him, but the Woking number 4 does very well and then spreads the pass infield to Saraiva. Saraiva touches it one more out to the far side for Nathan Ralph. Goes across the halfway line in front of the Chris Lane terrace. Saraiva makes the run down the left-hand side. Gets it now. Chance to play the ball in. There's a good challenge coming in, and the ball goes out of play for a corner. And the Cards quite effective down that left-hand side, John, early on in this second half.
Yeah, well, as I say, I think they need to use both wings, and as you rightly say, they're pushing and probing down that left side, and that makes a change really, because with Jake Caprice in the side, it's been all down the right-hand side, nothing down the left.
Well, Jake Caprice dropped out of the 11 today, of course, from the side that started on Boxing Day. One of 5 changes that Gary Hill made. Here's the corner to the Cards in front of the Leslie Gosden stand. Joey Jones going up to try and win it. Does get something on it, but gets it up and over the top of the crossbar. And is it just me, John, but whenever Woking have a corner or a set piece and the ball's going to go into the box, you never feel overly confident that anything's going to happen. Yet defending set pieces, you always feel anxious that the other team are going to score from it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Their delivery, I think, is so poor. That was a case in point there. It was a high hanging ball, wasn't it? There was no pace on it at all.
No, it needs to be driven in, doesn't it, to worry the opposition defenders, and just take the chance that there may be some sort of deflection somewhere, or the goalkeeper may drop a clanger. Here's a ball over the top from Sarr towards Agwu. It's nodded away. It's going to be picked up by Lewis, halfway inside the Aldershot half, running towards the edge of the box. Goes over under the challenge of Benny. Quite theatrically, Denan Lewis went over, but it will result in a free kick. I think it was a foul, but I think Denan Lewis made a little bit more of it than was possibly needed.
Yeah, it was an Oscar-winning fall, wasn't it? No doubt about that. But it was definitely a free kick.
And Benny just being spoken to by the referee, Mr. Quelch. No sign of a card though, but it will be a free kick here for the Cards in what we tend to call this season, John, you and I, Surrey territory. It used to be Jez Sol territory, and now, of course, it's Fabio Surrey territory.
Very much so. In fact, I saw Jez Sol playing yesterday for Dorking Wanderers against Godalming Town. Needs to say he did score with a free kick.
Absolutely, of course he did. Of course he did. Why would anything else have happened? It's good to see that regularity is still there wherever he happens to be playing. Fabio Surrey certainly is fancying this one. He's the only Woking player within about a 5 or 6 yard radius of the ball. There's a 4-man blue-shirted wall that Jake Cole is just lining up in front of him. And Fabio Surrey is going to strike this one. It's about 30 yards out. Can't quite beat the wall. The wall does its job very, very well. Poor effort from Surrey. Then it's overhit by the shots as they try and get it clear. And in comes Nathan Ralph to get it clear. But once again, poor delivery from the Cards in a very promising position, Rob.
It was, you're absolutely right. I mean, as an Aldershot supporter, I would normally expect to feel a bit of anxiety when we give free kicks and corners away, and I haven't felt it as much. I think you made a good point there. It's an interesting period for the game, isn't it? It's been close, it's been even throughout. Nobody's had any periods of real domination, and I'm strongly starting to suspect that one goal might just win this game. Which way is it going to go? His shots on the attack with Shea Alexander.
Absolutely. Alexander halfway inside the Woking half, slides it down the inside right channel to the edge of the box for Fenlon. Gets it back, plays the ball into the box, but it's too far away from Scott Rendell to try and add to the hat-trick that he got, of course, against one of his former employees on Boxing Day. And I've got to be honest, the Cards have done well to keep Scott Rendell fairly quiet this afternoon, John.
Well, I was going to say, you've barely mentioned his name all afternoon, so let's hope it remains like that from a Woking perspective.
The Cards.
Just to add to that, Gary.
Yeah.
Scott Rendell hasn't had 4 clear-cut chances in a match all season until Boxing Day, and I know that's only going to rub salt in the wound. But you know, he's been lucky to get 1 or 2. The majority of the chances throughout the season have fallen to Matt McClure, who again is on the bench today, and that's just because he's got a pretty poor return of 4 goals from 60+ chances, which is just not good enough at this or any level.
So Scott had 4 chances on Boxing Day and only took 3 of them. That's a poor ratio, isn't it, for a centre forward? Played down the line, Conroy battling away against Kretschmar. Kretschmar bundles him over, and the referee, Mr. Quelch, deems that that's a free kick, and the Shots will have a free kick in their right back position over on that far side.
I think we'd all agree, wouldn't we? The referee's had a good game today. He hasn't had too many really controversial decisions to deal with, but he's been up with play, crisp, assertive.
Yeah, most definitely, although most times we say that, they suddenly have a mad moment.
Yeah, you say that, John, and then something controversial happens. I remember here against Braintree, you were saying the referee was having a good game when he disallowed Goziogu's supposedly offside goal that night.
Don't even go there with that one.
Free kick is played forward by Cole. Joey Jones wins it, gets it up to the aforementioned Agwu, has it taken off his toes though by Benny, and now here's Straker playing it forward down the left hand side. Jones battling away against Fenelon. Fenelon gets a toe on it, can't do anything with it though, and it just deflects out of play for what will be a Cards goal kick.
And today, you know, Joey Jones has had a decent game for Woking, much maligned I think recently by the fans, but today he's knuckled down, he's playing in a different position. Obviously he's been playing just in front of the back 4 recently, but today he's playing as one of those 3 centre backs, and he's done really, really well. He looks strong, he's reading the game. The trouble with Joey is he tends to go on these runs where he has a good spell and then seems to lose concentration and then has 2 or 3 really awful games.
Yeah, and he has occasionally during the game, John, what you seem to have called this season a Baresi moment. He likes to try and dribble it out of defence and go on a masquerading run all the way forward to the opposition 18-yard box. But here he is, bang on cue on the ball, gets it back to Murtagh up to the edge of the box. Agwu touches it off. Straker's going to win it for the Shots though before Kretschmar can get there. Terrell Thomas coming across to read it well though for the Cards, plays it down the inside right channel. Reynolds gets the header away, bounces out of play for what will be a Woking throw on this near side. Just approaching the 15-minute mark here in the second half. Gary Hill even gets a touch of the ball, has a little word and a little cuddle with Gary Gary Waddock. Nice moment between the two managers in amongst the stress of everything.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be in a headlock, no, would you, if you were in Gary Waddock's position?
Not at all. Here's a ball over the top that Kretschmar was trying to get onto, but good play by the Aldershot skipper Reynolds just to see that through to his goalkeeper Jake Cole.
Yeah, but just to repeat, Gary Waddock and Gary Hill, there is a great deal of mutual respect between them. They get on very, very well. As indeed really does everyone between Woking and Aldershot. Behind the scenes there's always good banter.
Yep.
Indeed, at the Godalming Town game yesterday, I was saying earlier that I've been to see Giuseppe Sol playing. Well, I was standing with Shai, the Aldershot chairman, who I know very, very well.
Straker has the ball on the halfway line, slides it forward into the feet of Fenelon. He's got Mensah there for support, gives it instead to Benyu. Benyu clips it forward. Here's Kanu, slides it into Straker again, back to Mensah. Mensah goes square right across the pitch. It's picked up and a chance to play the ball into the Woking box. There's a little touch on and it's flicked away in the end by Terrell Thomas. One nicely in the air by Kretschmar. Gozioglu holding it up nicely. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. Fouled by Conroy just on the edge of the centre circle. Takes the free kick quickly. Gets it out to that far side for Nathan Ralph. Escapes across the halfway line in front of the Chris Lane Terrace. Slides it into Saraiva. Gets it back to Ralph. Aldershot have now managed to get men back behind the ball and the impetus of the attackers slightly gone for the Cards. Ball in towards Ferdinand is a poor one from Kieran Murtagh, and the shots come away with the ball and break across the halfway line, and that is definitely a foul by Ferdinand, and the referee reaches for his pocket again, and Kane Ferdinand is going to be the third Woking player to find his way into Mr Quelch's notebook this afternoon.
And just some news of the attendance coming in, actually, Gary. It's slightly lower than the one at Aldershot. It's 3,224 with, listen to this, a quite staggering 1,117 away supporters.
Well, that's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. New Year's Day, it's a good attendance in itself, 3,224, but that's a very, very good turnout by the Shots fans. Is Mensah with the ball into the box. Rendell coming up, and Rendell scores! Scott Rendell on the far post. Hasn't had a look in all afternoon, but we are 17 minutes into the second half here at the Laithwaite, and Scott Rendell nods it home to take himself into double figures for the season. A hat-trick on Boxing Day, the opening goal here this afternoon. Ball in from Straker on this near side, and Rendell rose at the far post, thumped it home. No chance for Michael Poke in the Woking goal. It is Woking 0, Aldershot 1.
Well, it would have to be that man again. We'd spoken earlier about how quiet he'd been today, but give him an opportunity and he takes it. It was a fantastic ball into the box by Straker, and Rendell at the back stick rose majestically and headed home. A fabulous goal.
Well, it sent the Shots fans on the far side in the Chris Lane Terrace into absolute raptures, and they're almost knocking down the terracing over on that far side. Rob, sorry.
Yeah, it has gone again, that barrier. Looks like no one's hurt. It went, didn't it, when Mark Molesley scored that goal a few seasons ago. Look, this game has been nothing like the first one, but now Aldershot have scored a goal, right, a carbon copy of those couple of those goals on Boxing Day. Beautiful deep cross from Straker, Rendell in the right place at the right time, and a pretty routine finish. And it's a little tough on Woking, but from Aldershot Town's point of view, they've weathered another little bit of a storm again at the beginning of the second half, and they've taken a chance. I was just going to say it didn't feel like we were as much of a threat, and we've scored, but there you go.
Yep, and you did say, Rob, 5 minutes or so ago that you thought it could be one goal that decides it. Scott Rendell has got the opening goal of the afternoon in the 18th minute here at the Laithwaite, in the 18th minute of the second half.
I'll change one word of that sentence. I now hope that one goal wins it, and of course John to my left will be hoping for something much different.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, from a Woking perspective, it was a poor goal really to concede, because they gave Anthony Straker the freedom of the park, and you just can't do that. You've got to get close and stop crosses coming into the box, and you know, again, that's been Woking's.
Here's a great ball through. Kretschmar trying to get there, scoots it in. Kretschmar equalises for the Cards. It's an immediate response. A great break down the left by Nathan Ralph, slid it down the inside left channel, and Max Kretschmar back in the side this afternoon. No hesitation in lifting it over Jake Cole. It's his first goal of the season, first goal in a Woking shirt, and the Cards are back on level terms. Woking 1, Aldershot 1.
Well, that's how to hit back. Great work there around the Aldershot penalty area. Lovely ball slipped through to Kretschmar. He got his head up and smashed it right into the top corner. It wasn't an easy finish, and he did really, really well to strike that ball. A great response from the Cards.
Absolutely. Great play by Nathan Ralph. Drifted in from the left-hand side, slid it down the inside left channel of the penalty area, and Max Kretschmar with a fantastic finish. Back in the side. Been out the side for a long time, of course, after he injured his shoulder here against Eastleigh back in October. Back in the side this afternoon and repaying that decision for Gary Hill with a great equaliser, Rob.
Yeah, well taken finish. You're never more vulnerable than when you've just scored, and the theory's proven yet again. Tight game right up to this point. One team scores and the other one equalises straight away. I mean, we're no worse off, are we, than we were a few minutes ago? We've seen a couple of goals now. That's got the atmosphere in the ground really going now, and now we're set for hopefully a thrilling finish.
Absolutely. We're just 20 and a half minutes into the second half here at the Laithwaite. Straker with the ball into the box again. Rendell was almost on it again, taken off his head by Nathan Ralph. Fenelon's going to keep it in play on the far side, gets it back to Alexander. He's got Benny Yu in support, chance to play the ball into the box, does just that. There goes the header. Thomas and himself getting each other's way, and there's a drive coming in from Fenelon that goes up and over the crossbar. Woking in 6s and 7s as the header went into the box. Fenelon with a free chance to shoot, but lifted over the bar.
Yeah, nervy defending there really from Woking. It didn't get tight enough, it didn't get close enough, they didn't get their challenges in, and really Fenelon, I think he should have done a lot better. He's close to goal, he needed to get over it and keep it down.
Well, Kretschmar's goal, the first goal that the Cards have scored in the league since November the 26th, when Agu got a hat-trick here against Gateshead. Only one goal scored throughout the whole of December, which was the goal away at Ebbsfleet in the first game of the FA Trophy. Here's a break down the far side though. Carnu gets it into the box, and Denon Lewis does just about enough to put the Aldershot player off before Benny Yu could pull the trigger. Kept in play on this near side. Flag goes up though, and as the ball came across, it's Fenelon who's been caught offside. And I think at the moment, Rob, both teams looking a little bit susceptible to a break. Aldershot look a little bit shaken by the fact that Woking got back into it. Woking shaken by the fact that Rendell scored. Look a little bit nervy again, and it's anybody's now for the taking.
Yeah, well, the excitement level, the tension, the nerves all rise, don't they, when there's a goal, whether it's for you or against. One thing's for sure, Gary and John, both these teams are not going to be happy to settle for a draw. They, for different reasons, of course, desperate for the 3 points.
Ball play forward by Michael Poke. Straker wins the header. Lewis comes in and wins the second ball. Nodded out of play though. And there's some activity on the Aldershot bench just down below us. I think they might be readying some sort of substitution to happen in the next 5 or 10 minutes or so. We've played 22 and a half minutes here at the Laithwaite in the second half. It is 1 apiece.
I'd expect Matt McClure to come on possibly for Fenelon. Let's have a bash at that one. Let's see what happens.
OK, that's your prediction. Breaking here for Rendell on this near side though, leaves it for Mensah. Mensah up against Joey Jones, 3 red and white shirts around him. Joey Jones stands up well, wins the tackle. Can he do his bit now to get the ball clear? Possibly a little bit too clever for his own good there, because he bought the space, Joey Jones, found himself the space and then turned himself back into trouble. Yeah,
Mensah's had a bit of a disappointing game this afternoon so far. I thought he was superb on Boxing Day, and actually Kanu wasn't as good as him, but it's been the other way around this afternoon. That early miss from Mensah seems to have affected him a little bit, I think.
Terrell Thomas stabs the ball forward. It's going to be played by Conroy back to Jake Cole in the Aldershot goal, being closed down by Kretschmar, the Woking goal scorer. Cole gets it cleared though. Ralph wins the header up towards Surrey. Surrey gets a touch on it, goes out of play for what will be an Aldershot throw on that far side. Don't forget, after we go off air this afternoon, which is at 3 o'clock, Mark Carter is here on BBC Surrey with the best of your laid back Sunday till 5 o'clock, and then it's David Miller with the best of the 1970s. Some great shows still to come this afternoon to finish off your New Year's Day right here on BBC Surrey. And this commentary, of course, here on BBC Surrey. Carnu now with the ball just outside the box. Good challenge coming in, though. It's a combination of Thomas and Joey Jones, and they had to win the challenge because they'd put themselves into trouble by giving the ball away in the first place. And the Cards, well, despite getting back into the game, the Cards' confidence has gone just a little bit. Passing has gone just a little bit awry, John, and they're playing themselves into trouble.
Well, that's what I was saying about Joey Jones. You know, he has periods in matches where he just completely loses it, and you just can't believe it's the same player. What on earth were Woking doing trying to play football in their penalty area, on the edge of their penalty area? Just launch it, clear it.
I had a horrible moment then, John, when I thought you were going to stop that sentence at the word football. What on earth were Woking doing trying to play football?
Now, we've got an interesting situation here. Matt McClure is ready to come on, so I've got that bit of the prediction right.
Yeah. Anthony Edgar also looks like he's stripped and ready to come on for the Cards.
Yeah. Kundai Benyus just took a heavy blow in midfield, but he's all right. He's up and he doesn't need treatment. Will it be Fenelon? Might it be Mensah who's had a quieter game? Let's have a look. Fenelon, got it, nailed it. There we go, in the locker.
Well done, Rob. Can I give you a call next Friday for the lottery numbers for next Saturday, please? That's what I'd like. Here comes Matt McClure coming on, and it is Shamir Fenelon who's coming off.
He tends to tire a bit towards the end of games, Shamir, and obviously both these games he's played up top off of Rendell, and that's a little unusual for him as well. He's not always at his best with his back to goal. He's worked hard to try and hold it up well today.
Yep.
But didn't get the goal today that he managed on Boxing Day. And Matt McClure, as I've said to you, many chances. Probably more chances, I'd hazard a guess, than any other striker in this league this season. And he's had a wretched time. He must have run over a black cat or something. I'll pass over to John, who's going to talk you through the Woking sub.
Yeah.
Yeah, no pressure. I predicted it will be Saraiva, of course. Actually, I didn't, but anyway, it is Saraiva who's come off. And I think he's acquitted himself well, really, in his first big game. Let's not forget he was playing Ryman Prem football last season for Merston, and he's come in. Yes, he had that great opportunity early doors, but the good thing about Fabio is his head never drops.
No.
He keeps going, and he's kept battling away.
Yep.
Different type of players come on now for Woking. Anthony Edgar, he's much more direct. He's a player who loves being given the ball, loves having the ball to feet, and he's a player who can cause problems by running at defences. You know, what lets Anthony Edgar down is his decision making, because he's the sort of player who'll go on a mazy run and then try a shot from 40 yards.
Well, Kieran Murtaugh's down on his haunches, just receiving some treatment here. It's going to result in a free kick to the Shots, and it's Kieran who went in to make the challenge, who's been penalised, but it's he who's receiving the treatment from the Woking physio. And we've got 26, almost 27 minutes on the clock here at the Lathwaite, live here on BBC Surrey. Commentary, of course, also available on the BBC Sport website and the BBC app as well. Kieran Murtaugh just having to come to the touchline before he's going to be allowed back onto the field of play. But I think, looking at him, John, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think he just got a little bang on the head.
Yep.
But he's up and no worse for wear.
Yeah, nice bit of play by Callum Reynolds, who was very quick in making sure that the Woking physio got onto the field of play to treat Kieran Murtaugh. Jake Cole takes the resulting free kick, plays it short to Straker. Straker gets it out here to Mensah. Round the corner it goes. Early touch from McClure, pulls it across. Kanu couldn't quite get his feet sorted out to get the shot on target, but that might go down as half a chance. Woking have worked it forward into the centre circle with Murtaugh. Murtaugh gets it here to Kretschmar, the scorer of the Woking goal. He's on the halfway line. Kretschmar touches it down the line to Lewis. Lewis is going to play it infield to Joey Jones. Joey Jones gives it back to Lewis just in front of the Woking dugout. Hill and Thompson, of course, there barking out instructions. There's a ball into the box. It's nodded clear. It's going to break for Kretschmar. Looked like he sort of half fancied his chances of getting it up onto the volley. But Murtaugh wins it back, gets it to Brian Sarr. Slides it forward for Anthony Edgar. Tries to play it round the corner, but the pass is intercepted by Rendell. But now it does reach Nathan Ralph. Gets it back to Edgar. Back to Ralph right out on that far touchline in front of the Chris Lane terrace. Here's Brian Sarr, has to go backwards though, finds Terrell Thomas, and he squares it up to Joey Jones. Joey Jones looked like he might give it to Lewis, gives it instead into the feet of Agwu, but it was too far away from him. And it's hooked away by Callum Reynolds, all the way back through to Michael Polk in the Woking goal.
Here's a geography test for you chaps. I must admit I haven't heard of this, but good afternoon, Nigel Aspden, who is listening from an equally grey Englefield Green.
Oh, that's not too far away from here.
Is it not? Yes. I apologise, my local knowledge isn't so good, because I live in Cambridgeshire, but there you go.
It's like Runnymede, Windsor, all around that sort of way.
Just as well he didn't say Guildford, Rob.
Woking have possession back on the far side. Brian Sarr trying to slide it out to Nathan Ralph, but overhits the pass and the ball goes out of play for what will be an Aldershot throw, and it looks like we're having a second cards substitution. Frankie Sutherland I can see stripped and ready to go, and he's going to be replacing number 15 Max Kretschmar, the scorer of the goal after 65 minutes, after a great run by Nathan Ralph. And Max Kretschmar, John, first came back in for about 2 or 3 months, has done very well this afternoon.
Yeah, he's been very, very impressive really. A player who flattered to deceive earlier in the season, then picked up an injury and has never really got going at all in a Woking shirt, but he's come in today and done really, really well, and of course scored that all-important equaliser.
And had a very big hug from Gary Hill, I can tell you, on his way off the pitch.
He did.
Spotter's badge.
Throw's been played forward. It's hooked away by the Cards. It breaks here for Aguero. Tried to slide it forward to Anthony Edgar. Couldn't quite make it though. The tackles are flying in again. Kieran Murtagh's launched into one there against the number 18, Dion Conroy, the man who's on loan from Chelsea. And it will be a free kick to the Shots in the centre circle. Kieran Murtagh just being spoken to by the referee again. And I think he's just saying to Kieran, you need to just sort of calm it down a bit. I appreciate it's a local derby and the conditions are possibly getting a little bit worse by the minute, but just calm it down just a touch. So no malice from Kieran. No, I think Johnny was just a little bit over the top and a little
bit over.
Split second late.
Yeah, and Frankie Sutherland who's come on, obviously a different player from Kretschmar, very much a terrier, somebody who gets about players, and it's going to be interesting to watch his tussle with Gallagher.
Reynolds, the skipper, is going to take this free kick inside the centre circle, plays it out towards that far side. Rendell claiming he was being fouled by Brian Sarr. Nothing given by Mr. Quelch. Ferdinand's battling away for the ball. In the end, it's hammered away by Nathan Ralph. Conroy underneath it, nods it back forward. Benny picks it up on the halfway line. Little volley forward up towards Mensah. Headed clear, though, by the Cards. Picked up on that far side, though, again by the Shots. And that's a strange choice of pass.
Well, let's blame it on the pitch, shall we?
Okay. It results in Woking having a throw away on that far side. Just over half an hour play, 31 minutes on the clock in the second half here at the Laithwaite, live on BBC Surrey. It's me, Gary Smith, John Moore and Rob Worrell. Gavin Dennison, of course, anchoring things for us. And we'll be back with Gavin once the full-time whistle goes here this afternoon.
Just a thought, Gary, the game situation paused at 1-0. Going to see a second substitution for Shots. By the way, Jim Kellerman is coming on, and he's going to replace Kundai Benyu. I'll put it to you guys, if it stays at 1-1, does it kind of reflect the reality that Woking are probably just going to do enough to be safe this season, and Aldershot Town have probably not quite got what it takes to catch up with the playoff contenders, and I make that point based on the fact not that it's a local derby, but Woking are fifth bottom, struggling for form, and Aldershot Town, if they want to be in the playoffs, need to find ways to beat teams.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been reasonably confident that Woking will avoid the drop. I think it'll be tight. Obviously, they haven't helped themselves by not beating teams around them. You know, as far as Aldershot are concerned, I knew that as soon as they appointed Gary Waddock, they would get a lift. I knew he would try and play a different style of football, fast-paced, a pressing game. You know, players who've got mobility and flexibility. And, you know, when I look at this Aldershot side today, as indeed I did on Boxing Day, I think they're a very well-balanced outfit. Are they good enough to make the playoffs? I'm not sure at the moment. I think, you know, Gary Waddock's really got to try and strengthen, I think, probably up top. They don't score enough goals for my liking, and you know, if you've got ambitions of making the playoffs, you've got to kill teams off. And you know, I would say defensively they look very, very strong. In the middle of the park, they're competent as well with Gallagher, but as I say, up top I think they need someone really, along with Rendell maybe, who's going to weigh in with some goals. And as we all know, goal scorers difficult to find, and they also don't come cheap.
I think in the limited time you've had to see us this season, that's a great summary, and I completely and utterly agree with it.
Gavin and I were also speaking before the game, guys, and Gavin was saying it was the thinness of the squad that you have as well, Rob. It's not enough in depth of a squad to challenge realistically for the playoffs.
No, and it's quite clear that if Gary wants to strengthen, he's got to get out before he gets in. And we haven't really talked about it today, but it's goodbye and thanks to Jack Saville, who's also been released now. You know, the fourth to be done so in the last couple of weeks, and that's quite staggering when the squad was only 20 odd anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Woking, I think, you know, seeing them week in, week out, it's, as John quite rightly said, it's been a struggle against teams in and around them in the table. Denon Lewis breaking down the line, gets the ball into the box. Headed clear by the Shots defence, very well defended, but they haven't cleared it very well at the moment. Murtagh's picked it up again. Lewis is trying to escape round the touchline again. Straker's coming across to cover that one. In the end, it's hammered away by the substitute Kellerman into touch. Well, what I was going to say, Rob, was Woking have struggled against teams around them, as John quite rightly says. And the next two games that the Cards have after today is away at Wrexham next Saturday, and then away at Torquay and a rearranged game on the 14th of January. Both teams they've beaten down here this season in the league, and it's games like that where Woking need to make sure they go and get something out of those games.
Yeah, absolutely they do. They're going to need to try and get at least a couple of draws, maybe a win out of one of the two games. Not going to be easy. Torquay are in the best form of the season.
Here's a ball played into the box. There's a little touch on it. Sutherland with a drive. Didn't really get hold of it at all. And gets it right across to the far side. Agwu's going to be able to keep it in, but the flag goes up anyway. And Frankie Sutherland, well, not the most prolific of goal scorers, John. Possibly fell to the wrong man inside the box.
Yeah, you wanted to see it to fall to someone like Kieran Murtagh.
But it was half a chance.
Yeah, and of course, Aldershot next week play Southport, so they could do the Cards a favour.
Woking a very big favour. If Woking can do their part, of course, by getting a victory at the racecourse ground. Yeah, the Shots have Southport, and then they have a weekend off because it's the FA Trophy. And then they travel to Gateshead on the 21st of January, and then they entertain York on January the 28th. I'm just getting an update on one of the latest scores in the Premier League. Is at Vicarage Road. It's now Watford 0, Tottenham 4, I'm led to believe. So certainly that one looks like it's in the bag for the Lily Whites of Spurs. I know Harry Kane got the first goal. Not too sure about the other goal scorers, but Mr. Pochettino will be very, very happy with that one. It's Watford 0, Tottenham 4 at the present time. Woking 1, Aldershot 1 is the score here at the moment, with about 10 minutes of the 90 remaining. Can somebody come up with a winner and be an absolute hero and start the new year for their club on the best possible footing? Joey Jones winning a header on the halfway line, was fouled by the Aldershot number 10, Matt McClure, and it's going to be a free kick to the Cards. Don't forget, as I've said many times, reaction to come after the game. Hopefully, maybe before we go off air at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If not, available for you very quickly online once the game ends. Reaction to come from both managers and players from both camps as well, as Terrell Thomas flicks that one forward. It's nodded clear by Conroy. The Cards pick it up again though with Ferdinand, gets it out to Ralph on that far side. Had a great run forward to set up the goal. They take it off his toes though, and Aldershot come forward in the halfway line. Kellerman tries to slide it through. Kanu comes in to win it. It's a good pick up there by Ferdinand. Gets the ball to Terrell Thomas. Thomas gets it out to the far side for Anthony Edgar. The noise increases just a little around the ground as the Cards come forward trying to look for a winner. Ralph tries to play it back into the path of Anthony Edgar, never really on the same wavelength, and the ball goes harmlessly out of play for what will be an Aldershot goal kick.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised Anthony Edgar didn't try and take his man on. He had a lot of space out there. Instead of that, he tried to play a 1-2 and it went all wrong.
Well, the rain is still absolutely lashing down here at the Laithwaite as we enter the final 8 minutes of this New Year's Day encounter. Jake Cole with the goal kick for the Shots, clears the halfway line. Murtagh beats Rendell to the ball. Edgar takes it on his chest, but then has it taken off of him, and it's hammered out of play away on that far side. Rendell giving the Shots the lead after 63 minutes with a thumping header on the far post after a great delivery in by Anthony Straker from this near side. The Aldershot left as they play in this second half, and then the Cards back on terms within 2 minutes, courtesy of a first goal for the club by Max Kretschmar, latching onto a nice little through ball from Nathan Ralph, who burst in from the left-hand side, and he lifted it very nicely over Jake Cole to send the Leslie Gosden stand into absolute raptures, or the bulk of it anyway. 3,224 confirmed as this afternoon's attendance, 1,117 people here from Aldershot, or supporting Aldershot, should I say.
It's great to look away to the right and see that whole stand, not just the Aldershot end of it, but the whole stand pretty full this afternoon.
Ball over the top by Sutherland, nodded clear by the Aldershot defence. It breaks for Alexander on that far side. Tries to turn it into the feet of McClure. Kanu coming in. Saar sticks out a long leg and wins it. Murtagh touches it inside to Ferdinand. Ferdinand releases Edgar down that left-hand side. He's got everything away to his left. Agwu coming in on the near post. Pulls it back right behind where everybody was, and Kellerman is able to get it. And Anthony Edgar with a poor choice of pass as he got into a really good position on the byline. Only had to get his head up properly to have a proper look. Could have picked out a decent run. Agwu had made a run towards the near post, John, and he just pulled it back behind everybody.
Well, it's his decision making again. He does all the hard work, gets into a good position, and it's an awful pullback.
Here's Edgar again on the edge of the box, twisting, turning, gets it onto his left foot, sees his attempted shot, charged down. Now the ball is played into the box and it's headed clear once again by the Shots defence. Murtagh going in to try and win it. The Woking skipper comes away with the ball, away on that far side, gets it back to Nathan Ralph. Ralph up against Kanu, plays it infield here to the number 22, Ferdinand. Ferdinand gets it out to Kieran Murtagh, away on that far side. Woking having a little bit of impetus as we come towards the final 5 minutes. Ball up to the edge of the box, turned around the corner by Edgar. Murtagh's made the run to the byline. Good challenge coming in, takes a deflection, and Reynolds is able to head it clear out to that far side. And Kanu, can he complete the clearance? He cannons it back off of Sutherland and the ball goes out of play. But a frantic couple of minutes there as the Cards push forward looking for a winner.
Yeah, Woking pressing and probing, aren't they? But, you know, fair play to Callum Reynolds. He stood strong and he looks a really, really good skipper out there. You know, he's leading from the front. He hasn't put a foot wrong all afternoon. I've been very, very impressed with him.
He has led his team very, very well. Rob, you were going to say about Callum Reynolds?
Not particularly. I agree with that. He's my Aldershot Town pick as a player of the match today, that's for sure. I'm a little bit concerned that we're fading out of this match, and if any side's going to go on and win it, it looks like it might well be the home side now.
Carnu has the ball in the centre circle. It's played out to this near side for Straker. Straker into the feet of Rendell, touches it back off again to Straker. Straker gets it out here for the number 11, Mensah. Mensah, can he find an angle for the cross? He's under pressure from Lewis. Lewis sticks out a leg and deflects the ball out of play for what will be a throw. 5 minutes or so left of the 90, and then we'll see what gets added on at the end. I've got to say the rain is absolutely hammering down here. If you're listening to this indoors, you've possibly made a very wise decision to stay in the dry and in the warm this afternoon. As I've said many times, hope you're having a very nice New Year's Day and a happy and prosperous 2017 to each and every one of you. And Woking have got themselves a free kick in their right back position. Coming from Monday's performance, John, Gary Hill would have been happy with the point coming out of today?
Well, happy with the performance, most definitely. You know, it's been like chalk and cheese, really. Yeah, this afternoon, you know, Woking have worked really, really hard. Kieran Murtagh, for me, has been the standout player, pulling the strings in the middle of the park. But, you know, the game isn't over yet, and who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, at the moment, perhaps Woking is slightly more on top, but to me, they could well be in a sting in the tail from Aldershot.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got a man like Rendell in your side, you're always going to be able to nick one.
Here's Gallagher, edge of the box, plays it into the feet of McClure, couldn't get it out of his feet. Woking get it away. Goziagui with a chase. Reynolds comes across to cover it, the Aldershot skipper, and between him and Straker, they get into a little bit of confusion about who is going to take the ball, and the ball bounces out of play for what will be a Woking throw right in front of the dugout. Gary Hill issuing instructions as he always likes to, never sits down for a moment during the game, always on his feet. Here's Denon Lewis on the touchline, slides it down the line towards Agwu, but the shots are going to be happy to see that one go out of play. Well, we'll see what Gary Hill has to say after the game ends today. He called Monday's performance gutless and embarrassing, and possibly one of his most embarrassing displays since he took over, which is 6 years ago now, John. Now we've moved into 2017, 6 years ago this month.
Yeah, but you know, you have to put things in perspective. It's not easy to do when you get a stuffing on New Year's Day, on Boxing Day rather, from your nearest rivals, but you do have to put things in perspective. Gary Hill's been at Woking nearly 6 years. I can count on one hand awful performances. I can think of Hyde away, can think of you know, Maidenhead in the FA Cup. I can't really name too many more, and the great thing about a Gary Hill side is if they have a shocker, they normally bounce back. Let's not forget that when they lost 7-0 away at Hyde, they then played Lincoln midweek, who were flying, and they came away with a 2-0 win, and today they've acquitted themselves really well.
Absolutely. Straker getting on that one to shepherd it back to Jake Cole. The ball bobbling all over the place, but the keeper gets it away left-footed. Sutherland goes in to try and win it. Murtagh on the halfway line, battling away with his old adversary, Scott Rendell. Carnu bundles over Ralph, just a little bit too strong there. The Aldershot man gets it down the line. Tried to be played inside. It's won though by Brian Sarr away on that far side. 43 minutes, I make it, on the clock. We should see the board not too long away now to see how much is going to be played at the end. Here's Straker with the ball across to the far side. Rendell coming in on it, flags one up on the far side. Rendell nodded it, tried to nod it back into the path of Matt McClure, the substitute. And Woking have a little bit of breathing space and have a free kick inside the D of their own penalty area.
For a horrible minute, I thought there was going to be a repetition of Aldershot's first goal there. Ball played out to Straker, got his head up. There was Rendell lurking at the back stick. Just went a bit too early.
Delivered nice and early again, didn't he? He's put in some really good deliveries in the second half today.
Oh, there's a chance, it's burst all the way through. Edgar one-on-one, didn't know what to do with it. Poor decision making again by Anthony Edgar, and Jake Cole is able to grab it. The ball ricocheted between the two central Aldershot defenders, and Edgar was in on goal.
Well, I'm afraid that is Anthony Edgar for you. Finds himself in a great position, one-on-one, and then just seemed to miss up. Didn't seem to have any idea what he was going to do. Got his feet horribly tangled up and just put it tamely into Jake Cole's hands.
Well, Jake Cole was
a great opportunity.
Jake Cole was on the floor and was able to just grab the ball as it came down from Anthony Edgar's boot. Didn't really know what he was doing with it, as we say. Here's a nod in field. Edgar coming in to battle away for it again. Sutherland trying to get in there. It's won by Gallagher. Scooped forward. Joey Jones able to get it under control halfway inside his own half. Into Aguero. Aguero tries to play it to this touchline for Denon Lewis. Plays it behind him though. Ball goes out of play. Throw taken short. Into Rendell. Back to Straker. 3 minutes are left on the clock. 3 additional minutes we're going to see. Straker's got space for a cross, plays it into the Woking box. It's turned forward, takes a deflection. They're going to score, are they? It's off the line. Has it gone in? It's a goal. It looks like a winner for the Cards. It's Carnu who's raced away, celebrating on the far side. And that could be the winner as we go into stoppage time. A mad scramble in the box, and it could well be that the shots have snatched it in injury time. It rolled along the goal line. Michael Poke standing, hands on hips. The linesman, I think, has indicated that there's a goal. The referee hasn't actually pointed to anything at the moment. The shots players are still celebrating, and we await what could be a very, very controversial decision here. The ball was played in once again by Straker. The referee is going to have a word with the linesman. Joey Jones is over there trying to talk to the linesman as well. It ricocheted around the box. It pinballed around. Eventually it looked like the ball across the line, courtesy of Idris Carnu. Michael Poke desperately tried to keep it from going back behind the line. The referee, what is he giving? Well, he's certainly shown a yellow card there to Kieran Murtagh. The players are making their way back into their own halves of the field, and it's looking very much like Carnu has possibly scored the goal in the 90th minute that is going to give the Shots the 3 points and a double over the Cards this season. We are certainly lining up for a kick-off, and it's Woking 1, Aldershot 2.
Well, the highs and lows of football. You know, Anthony Edgar had a glorious opportunity to get a winner for Woking. He doesn't take it. Aldershot go right up the other end. Great work from Anthony Straker down this left-hand side, got to the byline, pulled the ball across, and Woking were always in difficulties then.
Rob, your take on that one? It was a real scramble in the box, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty clear the ball was over the line, but they don't always get given at this level. You haven't got the goal line technology. I didn't see any foul. It was just bodies sliding in, and the ball was poked over the line. It's a scruffy one. It looks like Idris has got it. 17 years old, and my goodness me, it's going to be the most important goal that he'll scored for a long time. Feel for Woking, feel for John, but I said Aldershot Town needed to find a way. My goodness me, they ultimately have taken their chances, haven't they? Second half, they haven't created too many. But can they hang on? Last time they scored to take the lead, they conceded within a minute, and there's going to be at least that left. Will Evans coming on, and
Carnu's gone off.
It's Idris Carnu may have scored the winner with his last touch of the game.
Woking have kicked off again. And there you go, as John quite rightly says, the highs and lows of football. Anthony Edgar threw on goal a few minutes ago, one-on-one with the keeper. Dithered, didn't take his opportunity, and the shot straight back down the other end. And Straker once again given too much room to play the ball into the box. A bit of a pinball around the box. Michael Poke looked like he'd made a decent save, and then McClure was sliding in, Carnu was sliding in. Carnu, I think, got the final touch to slide it over the line, but it certainly looks like it's going to be the winner, John.
Yeah, it does look that way. You've got to give a lot of credit, though, to Anthony Straker. You know, his team have been on the rack, really, last 15-20 minutes, but he found that energy to get up down that flank, got to the dead ball line. It was a superb pullback.
Goal kick for the Shots is taken by Cole. Their fans were absolutely ecstatic, as you would expect, away on that far side of the field. Here's Aldershot chasing forward again down this near side. They bundled over the number 11 Mensah, and it will be a free kick to the Shots on this near side of the field. And frustrating more than anything else for Woking, Rob, I guess. You know, if that turns out to be the winner, that's a very frustrating moment.
For two reasons. One, obviously, to concede so late, and two, I never got the chance to input, but the decision was made for Anthony Edgar. Cole was out and he was on the floor. There was nothing else to do other than lift it over him, and he's going to have nightmares over that one because he should have scored the winner, and now it looks like Woking might lose the game.
Mensah just holding on to the ball, trying to play for a little bit of time, and the referee, Mr. Quelch, blows the final whistle, and it is the Shots who have the bragging rights of these two local sides for this season. They've completed the double. A 4-0 victory on Boxing Day is followed up by a 2-1 win here at the Laithwaite Stadium this afternoon. All the goals came in the second half. Scott Rendell, of course, with a thumping header after 63 minutes, put the shots in front. Max Kretschmar got the cards back on terms just 2 minutes later, but then in stoppage time, Idris Kanu has slid in on the goal line after some great work by Straker again to slide it home to make that the winning goal for this afternoon, and it gives us a final score here of Woking 1, Aldershot Town 2, John.
Well, it is a cruel game, really. Nothing to choose, really, between the two sides. Anthony Edgar, of course, had that glorious opportunity in the 90th minute to put the cards ahead. He didn't take it. Aldershot went straight up the other end and scored. I think it's very, very harsh on the Cards, but I'm afraid it is 3 points to the Shots. They press on. From a Woking perspective, a lot of positives to take from today's game, not least the way they've come back and they've competed. But at the end of the day, it's another loss.
Well, the Shots are taking the applause of their fans away on that far side in the Chris Lane Terrace. I can see most of the players over there. Scott Rendell and one or two of the others. Jake Cole as well is just getting some applause and taking the applause of the fans in the Leslie Gosden stand away to our right. But thanks for joining us this afternoon. We're going to hand back to Gavin. It's a final score here at the Laithwaite Stadium of Woking 1, Aldershot Town 2. Gavin.
Thank you very much indeed, Gary. Dramatic scenes over on the far side as the Aldershot Town fans cheer their players. We're over on the far side doing almost a victory half lap, I guess you could call it, in front of the Chris Lane Terrace. Rob Worrell of the Aldershot Town media team alongside us here on BBC. So Rob, it was a dramatic win, and with Idris Kanu, 17 years of age, I mean, he just keeps writing stories. He keeps making headlines. There's a reason why, you know, dozens of scouts watch him every game, because he does things like that.
Yeah, and that was pretty simple routine. It was just being in the right place at the right time, being hungry, getting the vital touch. The emotion I need to try and describe here now, because we've waited a long time for a performance and a result like Boxing Day. But do you know what else this season, Shots fans? We've had many cruel last-minute heartbreaks. It's happened time and time again. We conceded late on after a good performance at Dagenham. We got level at Forest Green and then still lost. We outplayed an unbeaten Lincoln City, who were heading for 10 games unbeaten, led 3-2 until the 97th minute and drew. Today, Shots fans, it's turned around. We weren't spectacular. There was nothing in it between the two teams. But your team, our team, have found a finish in stoppage time, and we take the 3 points. And boy, that feels good.
Gary Smith, our commentator, as you mentioned during the commentary very well indeed, it was obviously a much improved Woking performance today. Very nearly got a point. Is Gary Hill the sort of manager who will be able to take positives from today?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you know, as I said many times, you guys were there to see Boxing Day's performance, which obviously wasn't very good. Today was a whole lot better. I think Gary will take a lot of heart from that once he gets over the actual disappointment of conceding a late goal. You know, Woking have done it themselves a couple of times, and that's the way football pans out, isn't it? Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it goes against you in the last minute, and I think he will take, you know, lots of positives. It's obviously difficult at the moment, you know, everything's very raw and very fresh, and the fact that they've conceded, but I think he'll take certainly positives out of the way that his side responded today and committed themselves, as opposed to the way they played on Boxing Day.
Just a quick update. We're getting various reports from further down the press box. It was actually Jake Gallagher who got the winning goal in that melee right at the ending to give Aldershot Town a 2-1 lead. We're coming to the end of the show here on BBC Surrey, on the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sport app. We'll be handing over to Mark Carter at 3 o'clock. As I said, we'll try and get reaction for you in the next couple of minutes, but more than likely it'll be on the website, on the Twitter feed, and in the half-hourly sport bulletins in the breakfast show from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Rob, it's a bit of a streak broken for Aldershot Town. It's their first away win since the 1st of October when they won up at York, and that'll be another positive that Gary Waddock can hang his hat on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long time waiting for that away win, and like I say, we found a way, and I put it out there towards the end of the game. You know, if Aldershot wanted to be serious playoff contenders, they're going to need to bridge that gap, and to do that, they would need to find a way to beat a side that, frankly, you know, local derby side is in the bottom 5. They've done it, they've found that way, and it seems that it's Jake Gallagher who's dominated on Boxing Day. much tougher game for him today, but ultimately it looks like his toe poke, his touch, diving in the right place at the right time could make the difference between the two sides, and nobody deserves that more than Jake.
Jake Gallagher, he scored 3 previous goals for Aldershot Town and they've all been in defeat, so it's nice for him to score in a win for a change. Gary, a couple of big away games coming up for Woking. Of course, they go to Wrexham on Saturday, then they go to Torquay away the following week. How strong is this team's resolve? How strong is their mentality? They've obviously been beaten very heavily on Boxing Day. They've been very unlucky here today not to get a point against Aldershot Town. Can they recover? Can they bounce back from what you've seen from them this season?
I think they have to, Gavin, to be honest, or else they'll find themselves, back in that bottom 4. And it's, as I said during the commentary, it's teams like Wrexham and Torquay, with no disrespect to them, teams that Woking have beaten here at home this season, where they now need to go against those teams that are sort of in and around them at that wrong end of the table, where they need to go and get themselves something. And they need to take heart from the way they played this afternoon. And they had an immediate response to going behind, which was great to see. They haven't scored for a long time, Woking. Great to get themselves on the score sheet this afternoon. Great for Max Kretschmar. Other players stood out this afternoon. Kieran Murtagh looked back to somewhere near his best, or what we know he can, how he can play.
I was going to say as well, because there was a change to a formation. It was a 3 at the back. There was Kretschmar just behind Gozier Grus. There was more support for Agru. There was a better defensive shape. I mean, Gary's bound to stick with that against Wrexham, isn't he, do you think?
I would have thought so. I mean, they looked a lot more settled, and from what I can understand from you guys, they looked a lot more like they knew what everybody should be doing. Everybody knew their role within the team. They knew their role within the formation. Nobody was playing out of position. Charlie Carter on Boxing Day on the right-hand side of midfield, he's like a little bit of a lost soul. He's always going to get dragged in field, and if Jake Caprice is pushing himself forward, then there's going to be huge gaps for Aldershot to exploit all the time, which I understand is what they did. And when you've got somebody like Straker who can cross a ball like he did for the 2 goals today, then you can't give that sort of player the amount of time and space to put a ball into your box.
Gary Smith, absolute pleasure. Thank you very much indeed. Gary and John Moore will be your commentary team on this coming Saturday as Woking head to North Wales to take on Wrexham. That game live on the BBC Surrey Sport website and the BBC Sport app as well. Updates in the Joe Talbot show from 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Aldershot Town, meanwhile, on the back of 2 festive wins against their local rivals, they are at home to Southport. So from Gary, from John, from Rob and myself, what a good start to 2017 for the Shots. A very good afternoon.
3 additional minutes. We're going to see Straker's got space for a cross, plays it into the Woking box. It's turned forward, takes a deflection. They're going to score, are they? It's off the line. Has it gone in? It's Carnu who's raced away, celebrating on the far side. A mad scramble in the box. The players are making their way back into their own halves of the field, and it's looking very much